Blank check with Griffin and David. Blank check with Griffin and David. Don't know what to say or to expect. All you need to know is that the name of the show is Blank Check.
Life is suffering. It is hard. The world is cursed. But still, you find reasons to keep podcasting. I mean, that's my mantra.
That's why you get up in the morning.
What happens every time I walk in the studio? You go, Griffin, what's up?
He's just for the listener.
Flails his arms.
Flailing his arms.
What's
into the air.
new?
What's up? I do that.
You do Kermit arms and you demand that I give you info, and I go, nothing's new, everything's terrible, the world is awful, I hate everything. And then you go, let's podcast! Right? That's pretty much the conversation every time.
It's the tonal vibes. Even if those aren't the words. You know
that
what I
is
mean?
the back and forth.
I'm trying to be like, woo! And you're like, well.
And I go, everything's bad, and you go, our podcast is good.
It is good.
He's such a big fan.
Do I just hop in? Do I just hop in whenever?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right the fuck in.
Yeah, man. All the time. Yeah, dude. For sure. Sure.
I hear
Hell
that,
yeah.
my mon.
Yeah, totally.
My mon?
My mon.
All right, man. Cool.
Been down on
this
a
is
limb.
This is a
can I
cool
say?
environment.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty
still
chill
on
zone.
island time.
I like how you have all these Papazon chairs
Thank
around
you.
the studio.
Thank you. We do. We try to, it's, for us, it's more of a hangout than a show. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for me, they call it work, but it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like it does it.
No. I mean, if this is work, I've never worked a day in my life.
Yeah, if this is work, I don't want to see play.
Yeah. Yeah. What's play going to look like? An office job?
Do you think we can keep this going for 2 hours?
100%.
I'm sweating.
You think
I
really?
feel like I'm on a treadmill right
Here's
now.
the
really?
honest truth. I didn't watch the movie, so if we could just do this, like, sort of rib each
100%.
other about
You've
this
never
for
seen
like
it.
2 hours.
Yeah. You've been bluffing.
I've actually never seen any movies.
You've never seen any movies.
No, I've heard of them. They're like the long TV shows.
So you've seen TV shows.
Oh yeah, man.
You love
Fucking
those.
Cheers. Am I supposed to cut? What's your cuss policy on here?
Oh,
cuss
hardcore
away.
cussing.
Oh, good.
Some people complain about it sometimes. They go, I like the show. I wish
Really?
their mouths were a little less filthy.
Ah, fuck you.
Oh, that feels. I would never say that.
Yeah, eat my turds. I gotta say, already this is off to a rip-roaring start.
Yes, it
and
is.
this is what I always wanted, because we all know it's a long-standing issue with this show that I cannot get a word in edgewise. We've been doing this show for over 4 years, and this has yet to in any way reflect
Yeah, you don't get to talk about your interests or anything
at
like
all.
that. Right.
I got no stake in this show.
Right.
I feel like a silent
never get
business
to-
partner. And you know why?
Why?
It's
Tell
because
me.
I'm
Why?
always outnumbered.
Okay. Oh, right.
Sure.
At the very best, this podcast has 1/3 Griffin.
Right.
If we have a guest, it's 1/4. If we have multiple guests,
It could be as much as like 1/6.
Yeah.
Terrible.
right. But today, for the first time, this podcast 50% Griff, baby.
So I'm gonna bend sort of at the waist like this and stick my arms out, and you
Perfect.
just grab my hands like that.
I got it.
Now we're gonna fuse. Have you done this before?
Griffin is doing this.
I've
right
tried
now.
to do this with other guests, and it doesn't work.
No, it's got to be 2 Griffins so we
Yeah.
can fuse
They're
together.
shaking.
There's no guarantee that we will be able to separate after this.
Right.
Are you okay?
Yeah, no. It's much, of course, like the mythical Griffin, which is half eagle, half lion. We're going to turn to a mythical creature that's half Griffin, half Griffin.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
But just
double
2
Griffin.
heads.
A double
2
Griffin.
heads, no legs. It's like a cat dog.
Like
but
cat
with
dog.
wings. Yeah.
Your
but
arms
no-
can be the
Right.
Yeah, right.
It's a
Yeah.
long neck, a head on each side.
Right.
It looks sort of like a dumbbell.
keeps.
Yeah, it looks like a hot dog flanked by eagle heads.
What is cat dog doing these days? Do you think?
What's cat dog up to these days?
Well,
what's
you
cat
could
dog
even
doing?
you could add up the life expectancy of a dog and a cat,
Yeah.
and it's still just statistically is probably dead as disco by this point.
What if it like compounds though? You know what I mean? You don't add, you multiply.
Oh, I see. I see.
I feel like cat dog move like behind the camera. You know what I'm saying? I feel like
Oh, Cat dog is like now he's one of those guys who like directs a lot of Madam Secretaries. He's
Or-
like Eric Stoltz.
Or it's like Brian Robbins, where he's now just like an exec at Nickelodeon.
Right.
Remember when Nick Cannon ran like The N? And they
No.
were like, no, he's like actually running the network.
He's a mogul.
Yeah, that's what cat dog's like.
Okay, cool.
And dead. Our guest today, of course, is Griffin McElroy. Are you ready to
Hi.
fuse? Are you ready?
Oh, yeah. So you just want to push.
So Ben, if
and
you
I'll
could
push.
insert like a sort of, sort of anime style.
No sound effects necessary.
sound
This is
effect.
going to really happen.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
sound
this-
effects necessary.
Yeah, of course.
You'll hear it. Like have you ever heard one person's bones into another person's body? It makes a sound.
We're finally
You don't
gonna
need to
count
make
Sort of a
sound.
squelch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sort of like a crunchy
Yeah.
squelch.
Okay. And no sound
No.
effects necessary. It's going to happen
Yeah.
for real. Also, Ben, mark this to find some sound effects. Okay. Ready?
That's interesting. I can't wait to see in an episode's metrics exactly when we got to 0 listeners.
Oh, see. Okay, hold up. Oh, here's the problem. You pushed too hard.
Okay.
So, yeah, now all your stuff's inside my stuff.
Fuck.
So I've got 2 skulls,
Yeah.
2 rib cages. So this is getting bad. This is getting bad. I don't even know where your voice is coming from.
I'm sort of just like pushing wind out of my now hollow skin bag.
Okay.
So you're kind
yeah,
of like
yeah,
a bagpipe.
Yeah. Okay, ready? I'm going to pull this time. Okay?
Okay, but let's not overdo it.
Okay. Okay, I'll
Here we
try.
go.
I'll try to put a meter on this. Okay, ready? Okay.
Oh no! Now you got all my bones.
Oh boy, I'm feeling heavy.
If only we could. Hey, what the fuck, man?
What?
You saying I got heavy bones?
You got some.
No, I'm just saying I got double bones now.
I think that was a bone dig.
That was not
Yeah,
a
see,
bone
because
dig.
I did.
Bone
Hey,
dig.
because I didn't say that when I had your bones. I didn't say that shit.
He didn't talk about
Hey,
that.
But then when you had my bones in you, you're like, these are some hefty bones.
I didn't say that. I just said I have a lot in me right now. I mean, look around this room. Do you see Alan Grant anywhere? Because if this were a bone dig, paleontologist Alan Grant would be here.
He'd be here with his big claw he uses to assault children.
His bone claw.
He is very mean to one child. And
Yeah.
was the fan theory that child is Chris Pratt? Is
Correct.
that the fan theory?
The fan theory.
The great fan theory.
The great fan theory.
I love it when fan theories are like, that one kid, he's Chris Pratt now.
Yes.
Like, that one kid, he's Iron Man now, or whatever. What's up with it?
It's really cool when people do that. It's
right.
cool.
Right. Because it was formerly just a scene in a movie.
Right.
Disgusting.
Now,
Yeah.
new
Now it's the
context.
most important scene in
Yeah.
cinema history, and
Exactly.
I'm the only one who knows.
Yes. The Pixar theory that every Pixar movie is connected.
Right, they're all in the same universe,
And-
and like the monster world has something to do with the Brave Witch.
They all got that stupid lamps in all of them.
Yep, and the ball. And here's the thing, that theory makes the movies so much better.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for anyone who watches those movies and doesn't realize that Cars takes place after A Bug's Life, when the bugs have wiped out the Earth.
Wait, is that the theory? Cars, in the theory, Cars is like the end, right? That's the last world.
Right.
It's like that's
Oh,
so
God.
far in the future that there are only cars now.
So
Right.
that suggests that at the end of WALL-E, all of the pilgrims come back and then try to start a new world and fail,
Correct.
or are turned into cars by a witch.
One or the other. I think the witch from Brave is responsible.
She's responsible for like 18 things.
Right, all the magical stuff.
right.
Like the
She-
toys only come to life because the witch in Brave fucked up.
Right. Yes, that's exactly right.
I like that it all hinges on the witch.
I'm
from
sorry.
Brave.
I'm sorry. I'm wrong. Monsters Inc. is the end of the universe in the Pixar
The monsters
theory.
kill the cars.
Yes.
How is that possible?
I don't. I think
because
the
it
doors
happens
are going to
parallel.
the past. I don't know. Look, I don't know
Listen,
why I brought
either
this
way,
up.
This is so cool.
It's so good.
I love it, man.
Is what I want out of art. I went to a theme park. I was in retired bit Barcelona.
Barcelona.
I was in Barcelona.
You're in Whit-Stillman's Barcelona.
I was in Whit-Stillman's Barcelona, and I went to a theme park that is one of the oldest theme parks in the world.
I would not want to go to that.
Yeah, right.
This
to
was-
me, age is not a bragging thing for theme
Yeah.
parks.
Let me sell
I
this
would
to you.
I would like to attend the newest theme park in the world.
Here's what I want.
Yeah.
Where they're like, we opened it a year ago. Lots of people have tried it out. It's fine.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
It's all computers.
This place is hell. This place goes, we started construction in 1895.
When wood was
no.
discovered.
And the entire theme park is atop a mountain. And all of the rides at the very tippy top are all like height based. So their big ride is like it's a little tin airplane, and it flies around the top of the mountain, so it feels like you're flying in a little private, like a Lindbergh plane.
Right.
But the place is called. I keep on getting the name wrong because the name of the place sounds like Thibodaux.
I was wondering how you're going to circle on that.
Right. I was lost.
I think it's called Thibodaux. But every time
try and
my
find
girlfriend TC14 and I would get the name
just
wrong.
the sounds.
Yeah.
that he's making.
Thibodaux. Thibodaux. Did you search?
Thibodaux. I don't know.
Thibodaux.
Yeah, this bit's going on the highlight reel.
Why are you on this? Why did you do this to yourself?
Can we get serious for a moment?
Okay, sorry. Very serious. Introduce the podcast and our guest, please.
Okay. This is
It's
a
a little
podcast.
distracting, by the way. You have 2 sets of bones. Can you guys just finish?
Do you want to
Yeah,
just... Okay, I'm going to give the
give-
bones
give me-
back to you.
Give me the leg bones.
Okay.
You keep the arm bones. Let's call the whole thing off.
He was almost introducing the podcast, and then he had to redo the 11th season of Bones.
Cool. 11th season of Bones, they sure had fun with bones in that one.
I think that's what happens in the 11th season, where they were like, we're out of crimes, but this year their bones got all mixed up.
Season 11 is the one with all the skeleton warriors, right?
Where she's like, who did this murder? Oh, an actual skeleton.
It's
where they-
Lord Marrow.
It's where they all become set designers for the Texas Chainsaw franchise.
Right. Oh, boy. Yeah, what if that happened in a procedural about the government? It's like season 8 is like, Trump cut our budget. Now we're freelancers, and they're like set designers. We got to make Bones here now. Is Bones still on?
Bones is not still on.
Okay, fine. Bones is done.
Bones is done. Bones ran for a gentleman's 11 seasons.
That's right.
Yes.
No, 12. Gentlemen's 12.
Gentleman's 12.
A dozen.
How many
It
episodes
didn't make
is
it
that?
to a baker's dozen, which would have been nice.
How many episodes is that?
246 bones.
Can I gripe
Oh my
corner
God.
for a
Which,
second?
how many bones does the human body have?
Like 70.
That's a good question. Are there more episodes of Bones or Bones?
206! Bones, the TV show, beat it by 40!
Wow.
Now, okay, boys, you understand that they didn't feature a bone.
What if they did, though? They were like, this time it's your fourth, your ring finger on your
Tibula?
right hand. It's the top one.
Yeah.
All right.
That would be nice, though, if each episode of Bones was like, we gotta crack the shin. The case of the shin.
Introduce the podcast.
What? This blank check with Griffin and David. And Griffin.
Hello.
You see what I did there? Griffin and David and Griffin.
Little David sandwich.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh boy,
I love
I'm
tea and
trying to
ham.
get used to my new sort of composition.
Oh, right.
It's an honor. Thank you for having me.
Right,
I feel right at home.
You're now all lower body density, and I'm all upper body density.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a podcast about filmographies. Directors who have massive success early on in their career and are given a series of blank checks to make whatever crazy passion projects they want, and sometimes those checks clear, and sometimes they bounce baby. And this is a miniseries on the films of Hayao Miyazaki. Today we're covering Princess Mononoke.
That's right. And what's the miniseries called?
It's called Howl's Moving Podcastle.
Thank you.
And we got with us Griffin McElroy of The Adventure Zone, and my brother, and me, and 80,000 other podcasts.
Yeah, that's true. And from Princess Mononoke, I was in it.
You're in it?
Yeah.
Who were you? Were you
I was
the
one of
princess?
those wild. I was one of those wild little rattly ghosts.
Oh, yeah? Little head turny.
The little...
Yeah. I'm interested to see how this series goes because I don't know that Miyazaki has made a bad film.
He has not.
He is not.
This is
Okay.
this is correct.
He is not.
I didn't know if y'all were about to go just like hard in the paint, dunk on Ponyo.
How dare you?
Okay.
I would never dunk on my beloved Ponyo. She's a good person.
There are a couple things that you need to know.
Good fish.
Griff.
She's
Okay?
good.
Okay.
A couple things you need to know. One, Ponyo loves ham.
That's true.
Ponyo do love him. I'm always saying that.
Number 2, Ponyo loves Satsuki.
Yeah, Sosuke.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
And here's number 3, and this is the biggest twist. David loves Ponyo.
Hell yeah. Does that mean that by transitive property, I also love ham and Sosuke?
Correct.
Yeah, I do. That's true.
Yeah. Ponyo is one of your top 5 movie friends, right? If you had to
Absolutely.
rank. Yeah.
As I have said on this podcast, Ponyo is a movie that I watch to calm myself down if
Right.
I'm in a bad mood.
Ponyo.
See, That weirdly enough, that's like Spirited Away. Spirited Away is like my chicken soup. Like I am sick. I'm too sick to move. I'm just going to put this movie on.
That's another one.
Chill.
That one is
Feed my
like
soul.
that's like a toxins purging movie for me.
That's
Oh, yeah.
your Russian bathhouse.
Seriously,
Yeah.
Like by the end of it, I'm always like, oh yeah. I always gotta get emotional at the end. Like I suddenly remember that him turning in. Well, no spoilers,
No
but
spoilers.
Haku is a river.
Well, that's a huge spoiler. It's arguably the
I
spoiler
always
from that
cry.
film. Wow. This is Princess Mononoke, which at the time of its release was not only Miyazaki's biggest film, but the highest-grossing film in the history of Japan.
Japan's biggest film.
This
That
was
is wild.
Japan's biggest film, and
Ever.
it was only dethroned by Spirited Away.
Wasn't it dethroned by Titanic, which then was dethroned by
Yeah.
Spirited
Oh,
Away? I believe
Titanic.
that-
You know what?
Titanic
That's
dethroned
correct.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it was still the most profitable Japanese
Yes,
movie of all time,
right. It was the most successful domestic film in Japan, and then Spirited Away has held the title since.
And then Titanic ruined so many great streaks for so many different beloved movie franchises. I remember being a youngster and being so excited when my favorite movie at the time came out and dethroned Titanic, and that was Lost in Space,
Yes.
starring Matt LeBlanc.
we did an episode.
We
on
have
Lost
done
in
an
Space.
episode on Lost in Space.
An important work of movie making.
It does not fit into the model of what we usually discuss on this podcast at all. But we did an episode with David and his brother where
right.
we talked about Lost in Space because it was their favorite VHS.
That's a good one. Got that soundtrack. Got Apollo 440. got a lot of arena
440,
rock on that bad boy.
Yeah.
That's right. And you've got the three alphas: Gary Oldman, William Hurt, Matt LeBlanc.
I love you, wife.
I love you, wife. We have to go through the planet core.
We are lost in space.
Blarp.
Blarp.
Don't forget Blarp.
Griffin, did you forget Blarp?
I did. I forgot about
forgot
Blarp,
about
and I
Blarp.
swore I never would.
Well, he's in there.
We came up with
Blarping away.
We came up with a term based on that movie, which is when a film blarps its female characters.
Yes, it gives them some bit of business that has nothing to do with
Oh,
anything.
we have to go chase Blarp. Now we don't have to explain why they're not in the last 30 minutes of the movie.
They're dealing with Blarp.
Yeah, they're blarping.
Blarping.
This movie does not blarp.
No,
Nah.
not at all. This movie is it came out in 97 in Japan. Maybe it dethroned Titanic. Isn't that post Titanic? No, it's pre Titanic. Yeah, sorry.
They're
No,
right.
it's
Titanic's 98, right?
late 97. Yeah,
Right.
Early.
But that's what I'm trying. Did this come out early 97?
Yeah.
And then was dethroned by.
Titanic.
Yeah, like months after it got
Okay,
not long
okay.
after.
the title.
Gotcha.
Titanic.
But then
Yeah,
Spirited
yeah.
Away, suplexed Titanic.
It's suplex.
Yeah. Chihiro and
Yeah.
Baba, they took Titanic and they
Folded Titanic like laundry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But wait, what was I going to say? Well, female characters. I don't know. This thing's got them.
It's got an anti-blarp.
Right. Yeah. It's got an anti-blarp.
Now, here's the thing I want to get right off the bat because I was confused. There is Moro, the wolf,
Moro the wolf. He's cool.
Yes.
in this film.
Oh, are you going to talk about the dub?
Yes, in the
Okay.
dub played by
A lady.
Gillian Anderson.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's right.
So then
Is that a question? Is that the question?
So then I was going into
Wait, I have the answer. Yes.
okay,
Yes.
fair enough.
All right.
Okay, moving on.
No. What was your question?
I was going into the Wikipedia
Uh-huh.
because I was like, is this them sort of rewriting the movie to some degree? Because I know this was notorious as like the worst of the dubs.
Yeah, and the first...
Really?
The first...
I feel like it was at the time.
I don't think that's...
Really?
It's more that its release was so screwed up by
Right.
Miramax. It was the first effort to, like, let's put this in American theaters as,
Right.
like, here's Hayao Miyazaki. He's a Japanese master.
This was like the first proper theatrical release.
Right,
of one
we've
of
got
his
a proper
movies. Yeah.
release with, like, proper big-name actors,
Yeah.
American actors doing the dub.
Right.
Like, and then Miramax, like, released it limited and, like, then didn't really expand it. Like,
Yeah.
they kind of, like, decided not to go for it.
Right.
And so no one really got to see it.
yeah.
And then the DVD release was like not until a long time later. And initially they were only going to release it with the dub.
Uh-huh.
And all the fans were like, please release the original audio track too. And they were like, oh, okay. Well, that means it's not going to come out for a while. And like it came out later. You know, like
Wow.
they just
Wow.
sort of like
Yeah.
mishandled everything. I don't
Yeah.
think the dub itself is
Okay.
bad.
I guess the Castle in the Sky one's more notorious for changing.
That one's
The
bad
movie.
because
Yeah.
that one like changes the music.
Right.
And I think the original Totoro dub is bad.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, from what I understand for Mononoke is there were a lot of things changed in the English version,
Right.
Just because there are certain either not really concepts, but deep Japanese folklore that would take forever to
Right.
It just explicitly says them in this movie, and it is an interpretation of that folklore that I know that Miramax pushed back big time on and wanted all these changes. But the adaptation, wasn't it written by Neil Gaiman?
It was.
Didn't he
Yes.
do this?
Yes.
Yeah, so I would be blown away if this was the worst.
I don't.
I don't think in terms of the translation. I just know people always had gripes about
Sure.
the actual vocal
The
performances.
okay.
Billy Bob Thornton goes full
Billy Bob Thornton
kind of
sucks shit in this
heel,
movie. I'm all-
right?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does not do a good. And it's so it is
probably-
so devoid of energy and so does not match.
That
the
is my
character
problem
or
with
the
a lot of
pacing.
dubs. Right.
Yeah.
It just feels like they went in for a day and they were like, "What's this dialogue? Okay, I will defeat you, evil spirit. What's the next line? Hi, how are you doing? What's the next line?"
Right, and I think no, what were you going to say?
Claire Danes kind of it ranks above Billy Bob Thornton, but is not my favorite. But Minnie Driver crushes it. I think Minnie Driver
Really?
is
She's
an
good here.
amazing emotion. Yeah, and Billy Crudup, not the most exciting dynamic role to play, but he does fine. I think everybody does fine in this movie except for Billy Bob Thornton, who does, like I said earlier, suck shit.
I guess it was just I had heard so much about how bad Billy Bob Thornton was that I assumed the entire dub was bad.
I don't think so. Keith David
okay.
crushes it. Everybody's good in this one.
Well, so this was the thing, the Gillian Anderson thing. I was like, are they rewriting this character a little bit to make her female? And then I started digging into it, and the character is referred to as female, as the mother wolf.
Right.
And the Japanese actor who plays Moro,
He's like, well, "Hey, what's up?
deep
I'm a
voice,
wolf. Yes.
but is historically a drag queen performer.
Hey." I can't. I don't know enough about.
No,
the
I
sort
just
of,
think I think it's a little interesting.
It is very interesting, but I kind of like that idea where it's like, yes, I'm the mother wolf. Wolves have deep ass voices.
Right.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
Right.
No effort to rather than get Rosie O'Donnell, whatever Disney did, right? You
Yeah.
know? Get who's a funny lady who
Yeah.
can play the animal.
That is the thing with these dubs is they feel so much like the product of who's at just the right level of
Well,
notoriety.
they're not going to tell us to fuck off, but
Right.
we know their
Right.
voice.
They're
right.
kind of a hot name, but it also feels like them being just do the thing that you do. Don't try to fit the character too much,
Right.
by and large.
I-
And then you'll read interviews with Minnie Driver, interviews with Mark Hamill, where they're like, I took this seriously.
Sure, right. I'm giving a performance.
Versus someone like Billy Bob who's yeah, that was an afternoon.
They told me he was an idiot, so I just did the Sling Blade voice. Is there a problem?
Said something about some big crazy boar monster. It was wild. That was a really bad Billy Bob Thornton impression.
He's kind of hard to
Wait,
do.
what is no? But I need to rewatch Armageddon. That's the one where he has 18 lines. It's the size of Texas, sir. Where every
Yeah.
line he says is some folksy nonsense.
Yeah,
I
you
wanna
just
look up
drink a
Billy
big
Bob.
bottle of barbecue sauce before each take.
I miss Billy Bob just being in 5 movies a year. Remember when Billy Bob would just crop up in everything?
Yeah, well, he was on the Amazon original series Goliath.
I think that got it renewed. That's coming back.
Did it?
Yeah, 3rd season. Goliath.
I feel like the 3rd season's already aired.
Okay,
Am
fine.
I wrong about
well,
that?
I don't know.
I don't know if you've noticed, but Amazon's been doing this thing where they just 9 months later go, oh, yeah, no, we're not making more of that after not announcing anything ever.
No, season 2 aired last year, and
Okay.
they just announced that there will be a 3rd
They
season.
just announced.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So that's what's keeping him busy. Also, of course, we know his musical act,
Sure.
the box tops, I think they're called.
What's that? What they're called?
The box cutters.
Box cutters. Wait
box
a second.
spinners.
This got dark.
It's something with box in it.
It's the Box Masters.
It's the Box Masters?
I don't know
Is that
what to
really
tell
what it's
you.
called?
It's the Box Shit. It's hillbilly British invasion music.
Correct.
Okay, and I'm reading that from a
Isn't
computer.
anything.
He calls it hillbilly mod rock.
What?
I guess you can call anything anything.
Yeah, you can.
But
Guys, let's go to a Boxmaster show. This sounds fun. Hillbilly mod rock.
You guys have all seen the interview with Billy Bob Thornton.
yes.
Right, where they ask him a question about balancing his acting, his music career, and then he starts talking about his hobbies as a child.
I have not.
Right.
He won't answer the questions directly. It's an interview with noted sex criminal Gian Gameshi.
Yeah.
But he, he goes like, so what's it like balancing your acting career and your music career? And he goes like, when I was a young child, I loved movie monsters. I would buy Remco model kits, and I would read famous monsters of Filmland. And there was a contest one time when I won. And then I'll ask him another question, and he'll go like, I used to play baseball. And he's like not answering directly. And then he goes, I feel like you're being obtuse. And he goes, well, you're going to treat what I like to do as a hobby. Then I'll tell you about some hobbies I have.
Wow.
And his attitude was, we had an agreement that you would not ask me any questions about acting. And
Sure.
you know what?
And he was trying to like sneak an acting. Okay.
You know what? I'm correcting myself. He didn't even ask a question about acting. He, in the introduction, said a band which includes Billy Bob Thornton, who you might know from his film work.
And that
Had
that crossed
only
the line.
prepared music questions, and
Yeah.
Billy Bob was so angry that they contextualized him as a movie star. Now, the wind-up for this is the other day I was at a comic book store, and I was at the clearance shelf, and I found that there is a Boxmasters graphic novel.
Fuck.
Oh, wow.
Because the mythos of the Boxmasters is too big for the 6 albums they release a year. Because they're one of these bands that goes like, we're so prolific and all of it's so good, we have to release 800 songs a year. The Boxmasters graphic novel on the back goes, a band comprised of Billy Bob Thornton, film actor, director.
Wow. So
In
he gave up.
parentheses on the back.
Whoa, they're traveling through time. Attempting to destroy the history of rock and roll. They're trying to stop the person who's attempting to destroy the history of rock and roll. Okay.
They're the saviors.
Well, for $150, you can meet the Boxmasters, go to a show, get a photo with them, and pick up a VIP pass. So
Let's
maybe we
do
should
it.
that. Yeah, August 10th in Vegas. You want to go?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm gonna do that and wear my Monsters Ball T-shirt that I got from the launch, the
gonna wear
release
my-
party.
My Eagle Eye baseball cap. Eagle Eye. I'm trying to think of other Billy Bob Thornton projects.
I remember this interview when he was doing press for Eagle Eye, and they were like, so what attracted you to the script? And he was like, my agent calls me like every couple of years and goes, Billy, you got to do another movie where you're at a bus stop. What? And he was like, what? And he was like, the thing where you're on the poster at the bus stop. So it'd been about 3 years, and they offered me this.
But like that is to me the epitome of a Billy Bob role is just like Shia LaBeouf gets brought into some jail.
Son,
or
do you
whatever.
know what you're doing
He's
here?
like, you're in some real trouble, son. Like just Billy Bob comes in a suit and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, son, there's an Eagle Eye.
You either
Son.
are or are in the sights of an Eagle Eye.
Son, Tommy Lee Jones was busy. So
He turned us the hell down, so here I am.
Son, my agent said I need to be in a bus stop.
So you get Bebo.
Yeah.
You think he calls himself Bebo?
Definitely.
He does, yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Bad Santa 2. That was like a couple years ago.
And that made the bus stop, I think. It didn't do well, but it certainly made the bus stop.
That was certainly like a big departure for Miyazaki. Bad Santa 2. Yeah, that one was pretty weird.
But look,
when he made that one.
I contend
wait
with
to
our
get to that
original
episode.
statement. He has never made a bad film.
Never made a bad
yeah,
one.
sure.
From
But
Castle of
he's- like-
Cagliostro to Bad Santa 2, all of them are masterpieces.
and he didn't make Bad Santa 1, which is weird. I didn't know
Not
that they.
at all.
Yeah,
He actively expressed his dislike for it, in fact.
He said,
yeah.
this
He said,
Santa.
I,
what
he
makes
said I
him...
could do that better, and Bebo was like,
Right.
"Prove it," and then he proved it.
He had to go in and pitch on Bad Santa 2. And he said, I think the thing that truly makes Santa bad is his lack of relationship with nature. And they gave him the job in the room.
And so it's Santa just like wandering through the forest, like encountering spirits.
Who is good enough to really decide he is bad Santa?
So he's looking for good Santa.
That does sound
And
like
that doesn't exist.
a Miyazaki takeaway.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Is there a
shades
good
of
Santa?
gray
No.
Santa.
Yeah. What god has deemed him bad Santa?
So, movie,
They're back.
they're back. They're an advertiser on the show. They support
I'm sorry.
the
Can you
show.
guys just keep it down for a second, please? I'm trying to watch a movie.
Yes.
Oh, you're watching a movie
Yes.
over there? I'm sorry.
I'm watching a
sorry.
movie, okay? It's my favorite thing.
So you're checking out a curated streaming service that shows exceptional films from around the globe.
Yes, of course, because I'm a connoisseur of cinema, and if you could please keep your voice down.
Okay,
All
I'm
right.
enjoying the movie.
that's great.
Okay.
Every day, movie premieres a new film,
Right.
whether it's a timeless classic, cult favorite, or an acclaimed masterpiece, a movie you've been dying to see, or one you've never heard of before. There's always something new to discover, and every movie is hand-selected, You never spend more time looking for something great to watch. It's all there for you. We've talked about it a million times. It's one of our favorite sponsors. It's just there's always something to discover.
And I'll say this: you guys know way more about movies than I do. Movies. I've been using the service, and I feel like pretty much everything I've watched, even just picking it by the title because it sounds cool, which is the thing I do.
Yeah.
And every movie I've seen has been really cool and good, and I've enjoyed it.
Oh, here I'm checking out what they have right now. It's David Mackenzie starred Up.
Okay.
You would love this movie. Have you seen this movie?
No.
Aggro, dad and son in prison, kind of learning to love each other, kind of hating each other. Ben Mendelsohn and Jack O'Connell.
I love Mendelsohn.
Great movie. Great movie.
I mean, Mendelsohn in jail being sleazy.
Oh, this movie. Ben, you would love this movie. I really like that movie. That is an underrated movie. That is on Movie right now. We've got Wim Wenders' Hammett, his strange and like Coppola-produced Dashiell Hammett biography.
Okay.
You got and then you've got $1 Million Hotel. Wow, they got a lot of weird Wim Wenders up here right now. You know him, German director.
I do not.
Wings of Desire. You'd like this one. You'd love $1 Million Hotel.
Okay.
Bunch of weirdos.
And also, this
Bono,
is a way to learn about directors.
100%.
Sorry, guys. I'm just watching Avengers over here and laughing hysterically.
Avengers?
Yeah.
It's on Movie right now?
Wim Wenders. Watching Avengers. I'm a cinephile, so I refer to movies as just a blank.
Have
you seen the new Cronenberg? I'm busting a gut watching Avengers.
Yeah.
All I'm saying here is I'm laughing hysterically watching a Wim Wenders film.
Great.
Please let me continue.
Okay,
We're letting
sorry.
you. The most recent Beautiful Boy, Felix van Groningen, his movie The Broken Circle Breakdown, which was nominated for. This is another one you would like. Nominated for an Oscar a few years ago. Sort of like a Belgian country music drama. I don't know how else to put it. Like kind of like screwed up guy, man and woman trying to figure it out, but it's hard.
Okay, I can relate to that.
All right. So anyway, here we go. You can try Mubi free for 30 days at Mubi.com/check. That's MUBI.com/check. You get a whole month of great cinema for free.
Princess Mononoke, a film I had not seen before.
Oh, right. This was one of the... Well, no, you haven't seen most of it.
I haven't seen most of them. Had not
really?
seen it before.
Yeah, Griff is discovering Miyazaki. He
Yeah.
basically...
I kind of went on the same trip. I got for Christmas 2017. I got the whole Miyazaki collection on Blu-ray, and I'd only seen like Castle of Cagliostro and I think Spirited Away. That may have been it, and I just tore through them. It's a delightful journey.
Were you a Lupin fan? Did you see Cagliostro through that, or had you seen that one kind of randomly?
Dad used to get just like VHSs sent to the house, and I don't know if he was on some sort of mailer or what. And he got a lot of anime like sent to him, which neither of us really watched. But then we got a copy of Castle of Cagliostro, and he's like, "Oh, I've actually heard this is good," and we watched it together when I was like 8 or 9.
Oh wow!
And I was like, "Oh, actually, this is the raddest thing ever."
It rocks. That movie.
It was not
is the
that
best.
still like a really, really great onboarding to the rest of Miyazaki's work, even though it's not really like the rest of it. But yeah. That was sort of where I came. And then Spirited Away, I don't know. I feel like everybody saw that.
That
was the
huge
one,
when
right,
it came
right.
out.
Yeah.
Right. I knew that this was sort of like, oh, this is like his serious like epic. This is like his big like fantasy action movie epic.
Mm-hmm.
I did not realize that it's literally a movie about like man fighting nature.
Hell yeah. This is his themes, like made flesh, right?
Right.
Like the stuff that Totoro is sort of about.
Right.
Right. Like, our humanity, our oneness with nature has been disrupted. And
Right.
like, what is man's relationship to the outside world?
But this is like a sword like epic version of The Happening.
Well,
Well, wait a
painting it
second.
in the worst imaginable light.
Is he onto something?
Wait a second.
No, it is like it's in the. What is the name? Is there a genre for the Fern Gully Avatar battle between bad man and
like
good nature?
Enviro epic.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that kind of
Eco
thing.
adventure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, an eco adventure.
Yeah. It's like an
This is
eco vengeance
like Biodome.
movie. Yeah. yeah.
Yeah, it's the timeless story of Pauly Shore versus the world, the living world.
Exactly.
We all know that the world has been against Pauly Shore. But what if for this movie, Pauly Shore was against the world?
You mentioned like a Miyazaki-esque take, and I feel like this is about where in his career, like if you did not know what that dude was about and where his sort of just disillusionment with life started, I think you could probably clock it right here at Princess Mononoke.
Yes.
Yeah, because the other movies up until this point are sort of like cut with some sense of like there are characters living these pure, joyful lives.
Right.
In some corner of his tapestry, you know? Or like their sadness is cut with like moments of like whimsical bliss or whatever. And this is like a film about like a world that maybe doesn't deserve to exist anymore.
Yeah, it's super. Yeah, it's funny. I actually, I know I mentioned that I'm not like a huge anime fan, but I did watch all of Neon Genesis Evangelion in like 2.5 days on Netflix.
You mean the new, right?
Yeah.
I've been.
Well,
is
it's
it
not
worth
new.
it? I know. But
is it worth it? Yeah, it's a not in a every second of it was good and enjoyable way, but in a like I've never quite seen anything like it way. But it is. It was funny watching this right after binging Eva because it is similarly sort of maybe we don't deserve to exist. Maybe actually way more explicitly about that, but yeah, the themes were pretty compatible, I'd say.
Griffin, if I can just correct your correction quickly.
Yeah.
You said it's not new, it's just new to Netflix. I don't know if you know this, but shows don't exist until they're on Netflix.
You're right. I am sorry. I apologize.
And also,
I apologize to Netflix.
If something gets removed from Netflix, it no longer exists.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I'm so sad that The Office is leaving.
They're
Netflix
canceling The Office.
and unavailable otherwise. There's
Friends
no other way to watch The Office.
is canceled.
Yeah, right. The Office leaving Netflix means that no one can go do any Office.
None.
And Friends leaving means that no one can have friends.
Hey,
anymore.
close to this office.
They're just going to torch that wing of the Library of Congress.
Done.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What if that's the Library of Congress now? It's just some guy who's like, "Is it on Netflix?" Fine, they got it. We don't need to put it in the
it'll be
library.
good. They don't delete anything, right? It's just data. It's just servers.
Every time a website posts one of those, like, here's everything leaving Netflix this month, for me, that's like the in memoriam segment of the Oscars. You know?
Yeah.
Saying goodbye to
Yeah.
some classic shows and movies.
Boy, that is
Lost to the sands of time. I just still can't get over the fact that Netflix successfully pulled off the hoodwink where you aired on Lifetime a
Yes,
full
you.
season.
capital U. Y
Right.
U.
The Penn Badgley series,
Right.
You.
It aired on another channel.
Full season.
Right.
Then they produced a second season.
Yes.
9 months later, Netflix was like, we'll buy both seasons.
Right.
They put it up a year after it had aired.
And
Maybe a
everyone
little
was
less,
like,
9
Check
months,
out this
whatever.
new show.
And everyone was like, Netflix original.
Great new show about you.
No one believed me when I told them that show had aired on broadcast
Griffin,
television.
stop swinging a torch around.
No one believed me!
Griffin, stop climbing up that mountain to yell.
No one believed me!
And
Doesn't exist until it's on Netflix.
Right, yes. And Princess Mononoke is not yet on Netflix, so
it
it
doesn't
doesn't
exist.
exist. But
It's an idea.
Right, it's an idea.
I was wondering if these are going to pop up on the Disney Plus app or whatever it's called that's coming in November.
They will
No.
not. Miyazaki forbids it.
Yeah, Disney let go of all the Miyazaki, the Ghibli rights.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So now it's an independent company called GKids.
Yes.
Who's
Right.
behind all the theatrical releases and now all the physical media releases. But Miyazaki also will not allow his movies to be streaming, whether for purchase or for free. Won't
Not
allow
allowed.
it.
Can you put it in a river? Can you put a DVD in a river?
Yes, he would love that.
He's very into that. He's
Right.
been clear.
Right.
Okay, great.
Right. He will let his movies brook. He won't let them stream. No, but I think we've talked about this. I met the guy who's the head of GKids and was talking to him about it, and he was just like, "There's no argument you can make that will sell him on it." He just doesn't like the idea of the things streaming,
Right.
And there's no amount of money that would change his mind because he already owns a house and he likes it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He's got a modest house, and he's like, what more do I need?
He's like the judge that can't be bought in like a Batman movie where
Right.
he's like,
Right.
yeah, I've got everything I want. A house,
Yeah.
a chair,
Yes.
pencils.
I've got like 200 pictures of airplanes.
Right.
One tree.
I got one tree, and it's covered in pictures of airplanes.
And just limitless brilliance. That's the other
Yeah.
thing he's got. Right.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I think I don't think that's ever going to change. And it's weird because the thing that has created is these are some of the most torrented movies
Sure. Yes.
now
They
in
are
our
stolen online.
right
yes.
because people are used to if I can't watch something this easily, I'll break the law. And on the flip side, they're now still some of the best-selling physical media.
Of course, right. It's like
Right.
the Disney Vault. It
Right.
drives people to it's like
Right.
Yeah, right. It's
which is wild because I feel like it only recently became possible to get all of the I would not have bought all these films piecemeal.
Yeah.
I got the Miyazaki collection the day it came out, which wasn't until a few years ago.
Yeah.
It's a very new thing.
It was
to be
after
able to grab all these.
Wind Rises, yeah, and then a year after that, Disney let the rights go.
Right.
And so now they've all been re-released as piecemeal, and everyone's waiting for the new releases to be recollected.
Right.
But I have to imagine that falls under something where he has approval over that.
Right.
I imagine there should be
Yeah.
some reason that GKids hasn't immediately put them all in one box.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
I assume he's got a new movie coming. Maybe at that point they
Bad
can do it
Santa
all
3.
again. Bad Santa 3.
Bad as Santa.
Hardly,
Yeah.
hardly Santa-ing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mononoke. Let's
Mononoke.
talk about the movie.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
It opens with some of the wildest shit I've ever seen. I could not believe
It really is a cold open too, where you're
Yeah.
like, oh, so it's like a guy in a wait, what's happening? You know what I mean?
It's like a waterboard open. It's like
Yeah.
they're pouring ice water down your throat.
especially since
Yeah.
I'm trying to think Porco Rosso. What does it open on? Pig sitting in a chair,
Taking a
magazine
nap.
on his face, taking a nap.
yeah,
Totoro, what does that open with? Some kids move into a new house and they
Right.
run around.
Right.
So, gentle.
Right.
Let's gently ease into this new world.
this movie opens with a giant boar.
infested
Made out of
by demon worms.
Yes.
Yeah, made of evil spaghetti.
Correct.
Infinitely writhing meat chuck,
Yeah.
and a battle between a young prince.
And his dad,
Yes.
compatriot,
Yes, yes.
right?
Yeah.
Is that his dad? I don't know.
I don't know. Father figure,
Sure.
a fatherly man.
Are you talking about the elk? Because I don't think the elk is his dad.
Well,
Well, I mean, let's
Get
say
him on the record.
Let's say this though: Elk is daddy.
yeah, the elk's pretty cool.
Elk in this movie is kind of zaddy.
Yeah. For an elk. For an
Yeah,
elk.
yeah. If we're talking about Miyazaki forest spirits that can get it,
Yeah, sure.
and it's a long list. I mean, Totoro's thick.
Totoro is mad thick.
Yeah.
He's swole.
So-
Radish spirit. I don't know if you remember, but he can get it.
Yeah.
Spirited Away is just loaded with hot spirits.
Oh,
This is the
yeah,
thing
yeah.
you maybe don't
I'm
recall.
excited to rewatch,
It's got a
yeah.
lot of hot spirits, and
Yeah.
I don't mean because they're in a bath.
Yeah. No face, but a ton of ass.
So he's
so-
fighting Spaghetti Boar.
Ashitaka.
Yeah.
That's his name, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's a village prince
Yeah.
in, what do we think, 15th, 16th century Japan?
I saw on Wikipedia it said the
Muromachi, Japan.
it's sometime between 1336 and
1573.
1573.
So somewhere
Okay.
in there.
Yeah.
Medieval Japan.
Yes.
And he gets a worm arm. He gets a worm arm from
right.
this battle.
Right. He gets a how do they call it? It's not a bite. It's not a rash. But he's got a burn from the dark spirit.
Yeah, like a curse.
He's got a curse.
He's got a curse because he Shadow of the Colossus is this boar, but touches it
Right.
mid fight and gets a curse.
Right. And so now he's got this evil in his arm.
He's got an evil arm, and his arm occasionally, like Doctor Strange loves, and tries to grab his sword and kill people.
Right.
Right.
Which
This is also the point in the movie where I, on my first watch, realized it was not going to be like My Neighbor Totoro when the spaghetti boar fucking melts on the molecular level down to gore-covered bones. And I was like, okay.
But then the movie totally chills out by having him decapitate people with arrows repeatedly. Their head just pops off.
What I love about the violence in this movie, because it's a violent ass movie.
Very violent, and he really has never made a movie this violent. Nausicaa and Porco Rosso have action. Yeah, but I don't know about violence.
But this is full blown.
Right.
Yeah, he shoots a lot of arrows at samurai, and their heads and arms go flying off. But even that is done in what I feel like is such a Ghibli-esque way, where there's not sprays of blood. They just kind of turn into ham hocks. They just kind of turn into the perfect little
where it's circle of meat,
section of meat with a little circular bone in there with no blood, and it's just okay. It's fun. It's a fun dismemberment.
It is weird too. Also, when the evil animals are dripping with blood, it doesn't look like blood is spraying off of them. It looks like the blood has just become part of their being. If that makes any sense.
Yes.
They're just and this is where I bleed.
There's so many upsetting visuals in this movie, which is such a stark contrast to everything else that Ghibli and Miyazaki has made, right? Because it's all about on the complete opposite end of the spectrum is Ponyo, where every inch of the screen is filled with some beautiful thing.
Right.
And in this one, even the woods are, arboreal and pretty, but they also look like a place where if you step foot into them, you'll be killed in the most horrible way imaginable. There's so many uninviting things in this movie, not the least of which being the big spaghetti monsters.
Big spaghetti monsters are scary, but then even the benevolent things, like the creepy,
scariest,
head twitching things, and the fucking spirit of the forest,
right?
Who is, if I was a kid, I would be scared of. The deer with the red face.
But even
he was smiling. What's up with that?
The little twitchy clockwork head face guys.
Kodomo, I believe.
Kodomo, yeah. They're the cute characters in the movie.
Right.
They're the only characters in the movie who graphically look kind of adorable Ghibli characters, but also everything about how they move and sound is terrifying.
Yeah, I feel like it's really cute how at the climax of the movie, hundreds and hundreds of their corpses fall from the sky like so many snowflakes. I think it's really cute, and I want to buy a stuffed animal.
Cute. I mean,
today.
they're a hop and a step away from the little Grudge monster, right?
Yes.
The little white
boy,
with the eyes.
Yeah. We've talked about, in all of his movies, there's usually, one big, animation, showcase thing where it's, the bridge collapsing, where, he, animates, 1,000 splinters of wood.
Sure. Right.
Or, the shirts ripping, or whatever this, the most detailed, kinetic kind of element is. And this movie, starts with that, with Wild Spaghetti Boar. And then I'm wow, that looks like it's a bitch to animate. There's so much writhing movement and detail around him, right? And then it turns out that that's just a repeated.
That's CGI.
No. Is it?
Isn't it?
Yeah, there's some CGI.
Some CGI for the wriggling. This is the first of his movies to use CGI.
Interesting, because I know certainly with when you get to the sort of water spirit at the end.
Yeah.
That looks like that has CGI augmentation.
I think it's just the first time he deigned to allow CG assistance.
I was going to say, I had no idea how he did it, because then they keep on having creatures be infested by spaghetti worms.
Right.
It just keeps happening.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
And, I'm just reading that mostly hand-drawn, incorporates some use of computer animation for 5 minutes of footage.
Okay.
So, and always is a blend. Spirited Away has it too with the flower. There's a few, he starts to just sort of inch towards.
The spaghetti worms looked hand drawn to me. It was stuff at the end that looked a little CGI augmented. But he goes to the elder.
Yeah.
And she tells him, "Look, I don't know if there's anything we can do."
She's kind of right,
Wait, you got one of those? What is it? Evil arm?
Oh, you're telling me it was a spaghetti boar?
Oh, fuck.
There's a book about that. And takes down book with giant skull and crossbones on it.
Yeah. You got EAS, evil arm syndrome? It's no good. Very bad. Don't do it.
So, he's got to go. They find out.
That's the thing. They're like, look, probably you're fucked.
Right.
There's a small chance if you go like into the deepest, darkest, spookiest parts of the forest, you might be able to find something.
Yeah,
But no promises.
and this is. I guess he lives in the nice place.
Pretty good.
He
Well,
lives in like bucolic, nice place. No,
He lives in the place that 500 years ago was completely Hulkamania ran over it and decimated the entire village. So I don't know that I would call that the nice place.
Okay,
like
all
that
right.
is a small once ruined enclave of a lifestyle that no longer can exist in this version of Japan. Right. This movie actually, we gave it a hard time for falling into that eco-adventure genre, but I feel like it really explores a lot of stuff around that. Like, it doesn't just say, like, these are the bad guys, they want the
that's why this
fucking
movie
unobtainium
rules.
from the...
Yeah.
It's like...
no one is
it was
bad. Everyone is
yeah,
bad.
no one's bad, except for maybe, like, the forces of humanity that we don't actually see in this. Or maybe are represented by, like, the bad... samurai forces that come in, but like his little village is a symptom of this like rough transition of a pre-industrialized, medieval
It's just
environment,
discovering
like
metals and things like that, and like mining the forest and chopping things down. But they're like,
Yeah.
we're trying to live here,
And
we're just trying to live and not be. Yeah,
and we are disruptive. Like that is
Right.
we are the fucking iron ball that's in the boar that gave him worms, right? Like,
right.
And you're in one of those messy like transition periods between like cyclical societal resets where people are like, what do we do now? What's humanity like?
yeah, right,
Yeah.
But I feel like that's why this movie rules more. Yes, like you're saying, like much more than Fern Gully, where the demon is just a pollution monster, or Avatar, or whatever. Like where it's like,
No, but David, actually, can I say, I don't know if you picked up on it because it's very subtle.
please do your bit.
The villain,
I'm so excited.
the villain in Fern Gully is like a pollution monster.
What's his name again, please? You always forget, and I
Oh,
always
fuck,
have to look
it's
it
Tim
up.
Curry.
It's Tim Curry.
His name's not Paluto.
It's not Pluto, but like it's oh Jesus! I always also forget how stupid he looks. Hexus. That's
Wow.
Hexus is not great.
He's smoke.
his name. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's a smoky guy. He's a smoky, toxic guy. Rather than that, the villains here are like just like what we have done. We're
Yes.
living 600 years on or whatever, and we're like, we know what we did.
Right.
Like, this is just the beginning of that. This is the infestation.
It's so brilliant how Ashitaka is like not one of the like parties in this conflict. Like Ashitaka is an outside observer from this cloister that wants nothing to do with it, but has been pulled into it because the spaghetti boar was turned evil by this iron ball that somebody shot into it, and now like it's like they are getting the splash damage of global warming or whatever, even though like they had no part in it whatsoever. Like he's being pulled in, but doesn't give a shit about industrialization versus preservation.
No, like that's the thing. Like everyone in this movie is kind of just trying to survive. Like there's no one trying to seize great power.
No.
They're
all
Aside
just trying
from
to
Bebo.
live.
Yeah.
Bebo's. I think you make a case that Bebo's character is not great.
Well, Bebo's a little stinker. I mean, let me say, this guy, I feel like with him...
He's like an opportunist, right?
Right.
He's like,
Right.
look, I gotta live. Like, I'll
Right.
grab what I can. Right.
Because in the grand scheme of things, he could be a lot more evil than he is. Like, he's kind of unambitious.
He's a pain at the end when he's like grabbing the head and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's fucked up.
Right,
but it also just feels like, as you said, like he's an opportunist. He's like, I don't know, what's like the best thing I can do at this moment? He's got no overarching scheme.
He's like a bad Santa.
He's kind of
Right.
like a
It's
bad...
like if Santa
Yeah.
was, but he's
I don't think
usually
I'd describe
good.
him. He's like sort of roly-poly,
Jolly usually.
jolly. Carries around surprise things in his sack or basket.
I'm writing this script. It's like Untitled Santa Who's Not So Good project, but I can't think of a name for it. You know what I mean?
No good
Wrong
Santa.
No, that doesn't sound
Wrong
right.
Santa is a different movie.
Wrong Santa to be very frightening.
Wrong
Who is that coming down the chimney?
That's the wrong Santa.
Why do you have 7 arms?
Oh, that's the wrong Santa.
Oh boy, we got the
Why
wrong
did-
Santa.
Why are there teeth coming out of your torso?
He's just all teeth. That's what wrong Santa is. He's that tooth guy. Remember the tooth monster? that's just all teeth.
What are you
From the
talking-
show.
Yeah, from the show. You know, the show that was like scary things. I'm going to find it for you now, and you're going to be very upset.
There's
with
a show with a scary. What is this?
It's a tooth man.
But what's
It
this
was like
from?
the creepy pasta. Like I think it was Sci-Fi did like
It was
an adaptation.
Sci-Fi.
of-
It was called Channel Zero. It
Okay.
was on
Channel Zero.
Sci-Fi, and it was adapting like the best creepypastas.
Wow.
Yes.
And one of them was like, what if there was a guy who he was all teeth? Nothing else.
delivering presents to
Yeah.
good kids' houses.
And there he is.
So like
I'm
his
showing
punch
Griffin.
could turn into a bite.
I like that.
That was a superpower.
Wow.
His tooth powers. From Candle Cove. That's what that was called. All right. Candle Cove. Remember Candle
So
Cove?
anyway, and then Ashitaka just starts like
right. Griffin's
splitting
getting
dudes
us
in
back on
half.
track.
Yes. Right.
Yes, he has superpowers now because he's got one. I do wish he had like an oversized arm. That would have been fun.
Like
Well,
Freddy
yes,
Rodriguez
kinda.
and Lady in the Water.
Exactly. But you know what I mean? Like if he's like double arm, like one of his arms is just double sized.
But I like his weird kind of like gross burn
Yes,
he's
it's
got left, and I like when sort of like it activates, and then you have the sort of swirling sort of smoke and aura around it. I like that. Otherwise, it's kind of like, oh, this is my shitty arm, you know?
Yeah, right.
David,
Yeah.
who's our sponsor this week?
Liquid Death.
That company where I cannot figure out why I like their product so much. It defies logic to a certain extent. Now, they've been nice enough to send over some copy to point out some of the explanations maybe for why I'm enjoying this product. Because let's admit it. On its face, this sounds stupid.
Sounds silly.
We've talked about it.
Canned water?
You get a big box.
I have a tap
a
water comes
heavy
out
box
of. Right.
of
You gotta lug it
canned
in.
water in tall
And then you
boys.
gotta put it in the fridge.
Right.
Because this stuff is best cold.
Right. And we both got these boxes and met them with a combination of skepticism and disdain.
Liquid Death.
But then what happened? We cracked open a can of Liquid Death, and suddenly
Put that in there.
we were overjoyed. So let's run through some of these explanations for them, okay? Number one, this is actually really good water. That's a good point.
Yeah.
They're saying here it's actually from the
Right,
mountains.
it's not trash water. It's from the mountains. It's got natural electrolytes and minerals.
And I will say this, it tastes very good. It's very refreshing. And I've been staying more hydrated. I can feel my health improving because every time I go to the fridge, I'm not getting a beer. I'm not getting a soda
All right,
pop.
that's the
I'm not
thing.
even drinking one of those damn flavored seltzers.
They're everywhere now.
I'm drinking
No,
fresh mountain water in a large dose.
in freezing cold cans.
Now that's a big point here.
That's to me the huge selling
because
point.
we said this in a previous ad and people laughed at us. They
It
said,
chills
"What do you mean?"
this stuff the fuck out.
It's very different. And
swore.
Liquid Death is going to like it when we say fuck because they're an extreme company. So I'm going to say this.
This shit gets fucking cold.
So cold.
And you don't realize it until you have Liquid Death because when you're having a bottle of plastic water, A, it tastes like plasticky garbage.
Yes, it does.
And you don't realize. You go, wow, I've never had water out of a can before. And B, it gets cold in a way, let's say, your boxed water doesn't.
Right.
This is a real chill, tall can of water.
And then beyond that, they have this mission to bring death to plastic because
Right.
aluminum cans are infinitely recyclable.
Uh-huh. Plastic is not a thing that haunts me because I am a toy boy.
You are a toy boy.
I'm trying to neutralize my footprint.
Of all the aluminum produced since 1888, over 100 years ago, 75% of it is still in current use.
Good stats.
Plastic is not really recyclable. Most recycling plants just send it straight to a landfill because it costs too much to recycle, and there's no one who will buy the recycled plastic. Aluminum and metals are the only materials that actually are profitable to recycle. So, like, you know, when this box arrives, you're like, oh my God, like, look at all this stuff. I'm going to have to throw it out. No,
Yeah.
it'll just get reused.
Here's another stat that haunts me, okay? If you throw your plastic in the garbage so it goes straight to a landfill, right? You don't even pretend that you're recycling it. That's actually better for the environment because otherwise,
Right, they have to like truck it
They have
back
to
and
truck
forth.
it
Yeah,
over.
No, I mean, look,
and then they ship it eventually.
isn't it crazy to drink water, think about how cold it is, and then ponder the environment?
Right, because here's another thing Liquid Death does. They donate 5 cents from each can sold to help clean up plastic pollution, bring clean drinking water to those in need.
And
here-
also, it comes in cans that look like beer.
And that's where the bit comes in. Because themselves are admitting that's part of the troll. Right? You take a can of Liquid Death out, old Officer Krupke comes around with his nightstick.
Right.
Hey, what are you doing
It's
there?
just water, officer. People like that noise. All right.
You can even brown bag it
Yeah.
and then have double the fun.
All right. Listen up. Listen up. Liquid Death is only available in a handful of stores, so you really have to order it online. Just go to liquiddeath.com/check. They're offering listeners an exclusive deal to get $2 off every case.
What's that?
That's liquiddeath.com/check. Or better yet, you can click the option to literally sell your soul on the website in exchange for a free case. Yes, you actually sign a real soul contract, and it's legally binding for eternity.
See, they're fun. They get that their product sounds dumb, so they do bits. They're like us, and the water
rules.
tastes good.
Hell yeah. So he meets Billy Bob. I'm just gonna call him Billy Bob now.
Yeah.
Who sort of like fills him in on Great Forest Spirit, Iron Town, right? All that kind of stuff.
There is very subtly a Chekhov's gun setup of the Emperor wants the forest spirit's head,
yes,
because it's supposed to give you eternal life.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sure that will come in handy later.
Yes.
Which, by the way, I don't think it does. I think that head does not give you eternal life.
No.
It just makes a giant sludge monster try to go everywhere.
Yeah.
Immediately bad when that head comes off.
Yeah. Very, very quick response.
It's not like a monkey's paw thing where it turns out that it's bad to take it. It's just right away, red alert.
Yeah.
But anyway. And then he goes to Irontown. Come on, let's talk Irontown, guys. I don't know. What else should we... fill me in if I'm forgetting plot things.
No, I think you're there.
Yeah, I think we get to Irontown. Yeah.
He sees the fight, right? We are introduced to the what is it? The Lord Asana. Who is the other army in here? Like the samurai who they have to fight.
Oh, right.
Off
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Is just going into a town and just massacring everybody in it, and that is where he sort of discovers his super strength when he starts splitting dudes.
Yes. The Boar Clan. I'm a big fan of.
Oh no, I was talking about the humans.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
but I want to bring in a group of guys that I like a lot. Jago's Boar Clan, who hide out in boar skins.
Yeah. The foreskin is the coolest visual in the entire fucking movie.
But when they have what is it, the blow darts peeking out of the eye holes of the boar?
Pretty spooky stuff.
Yeah.
Very, very spooky. Also, we're jumping. Yeah, I just like the boar daddy. What's the boar daddy's name? Big Boar. Keith David.
Okoto?
Oh, yes. Just being no, these are definitely the boars. They're back. Great.
They're good. I smell them.
Yeah. I was worried about this is definitely the boars.
They sing like Pumbaa.
That's right. They are all singing Hakuna Matata.
What are you talking about? These guys have boar skin. How could they be anything else but boars?
They don't have visible moving legs. Sometimes boars do that.
They have no eyes.
Their skin is flapping in the
Your
wind?
entire clan is dead. Yeah, man. Out comes Razor. They came back. I'm telling you, man. They stink like boars.
It gotta be boars.
But Irontown, okay? We meet
Irontown.
Lady Eboshi. She's kind of the coolest character because she's villainous but not bad, and she's impressive and strong and fascinating, but causing she's complicated. There's just never a character like this in an animated movie that children could watch.
Everyone's looking out for themselves.
I'd be afraid for my
looking out for
children
their
watching this
people.
movie.
Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
It's a competitive time. It's a battle to stay alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, also people who are sort of on the outside of the culture that was growing in other more established places, lepers making firearms to help protect and maybe even grow Irontown, and prostitutes who were coming to do, or everybody in the town was effectively on equal footing. They had women working in the forges which probably wasn't happening anywhere else. She was trying to create this perfect civilization of complete equality and wild growth.
And the only way she can do it is deep in the forest or whatever, wherever, untouched from mainline civilization.
And does everything she does to, supposedly does everything she does to, protect those people. That's at least what she claims and says. Whether or not she's exploiting that idea, I feel like the movie maybe doesn't touch of I am defended because I am making a community of ostracized people, and isn't that nice? But really, I just want I want to take over the world with my good hard weapons that are made of the hard stuff that we found in the sand.
That hard stuff is helpful.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That iron sand.
But that's the other big thing of just like at this point in time, it's like what is the best strategy for staying alive?
Right.
Like everyone's
sure.
trying to figure out like what's the best way to form a society so that we don't get killed by other people or boars.
This first scene where she takes Ashitaka on like a tour and shows him like how the town operates and how they are achieving this balance and this equality. The thing that stuck out to me this time is she like walks him up to her private chambers and walks him through this big ass garden that she has. This big garden that she has in her front yard. So like if you were ready to write her off as the person who just wants to obliterate nature for, for profit's sake, like I think it kind of takes the legs out of that argument because it's like, it's not like she doesn't care completely.
But she wants to maybe feel a little more control over nature,
Sure.
She pitches it as like they started it. She
Yeah,
pitches it like
right.
we need stuff and we got the stuff, and then wolves and boars started to like come and try and murder us. And we're people, so that's not good.
I would not love it if there was a boar that was the size of a building that was trying to hurt me. Either.
Sounded
I
like
wouldn't be
Keith
like
David.
a car-sized boar.
Yeah.
I don't know. How big are those boars? They're
Huge.
car-sized.
They're
Yeah.
big old boars.
Big old boars. The leper scene I find very unnerving.
And touching.
Yes.
Unnerving is good because it's genuinely unsettling or frightening or whatever to think about this. Miyazaki apparently was like, he is to this day moved by the plight of lepers in Japan.
Wow.
And he was like, I wanted to like deal with the incurable disease, quote unquote, caused by bad karma, which is like, an old, outdated belief.
Is that still a serious issue in Japan?
I don't know about serious,
Okay.
but like it exists.
He can't get over it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. The choice to animate the lepers speaking where their heads are completely covered in bandages,
Right.
but the mouth of the bandage sort of flaps a little bit,
Yeah.
So it's not just like some disembodied voice coming from under gauze. It's like, oh, right, there's like a person there who's emoting whose face you're never going to see.
Yeah, it's frightening.
Yeah.
But also, as Griffin is saying, like, just immediately, like, every Disney movie she would, I don't know, she'd do something.
She's not Cruella de Vil.
Exactly.
Like she's
Right,
not wearing
right.
the skin of the boar and like, don't I look so beautiful?
Right.
Because vanity is bad. Anyway,
She would get to sing her one song about, like, by the way I'm evil, right?
Yeah.
Would be like,
That would be the name of the song.
right. Verse 1, by the way I'm evil. Verse 2, I don't
And
like
many-
grass and trees. I don't know, like, right on and on, like that.
I eat squirrels whole. Minnie Driver also like sells it. So she's like just cool as shit. Like she sounds so
I
cool
love
and
Minnie
collected and seems like the perfect like representation of this person who just like handles shit and has made something out of nothing.
This was the time when it felt like Minnie Driver was going to be like a major force
She's
forever.
like coming off an Oscar nom when this
Right.
is coming out in America. Like, yeah.
Right, and this is one of those. Romilly, my much younger sister, saw Good Will Hunting for the first time a couple of years ago and had that reaction she has sometimes.
How
where
did
she'll,
she like those apples?
She liked those apples. She actually liked them apples a lot.
Okay, great.
But she said to me, she was like, "What happened to Minnie Driver?"
Yeah.
Like when she sees a movie that's from before she was born or when she was too young,
Right, like
and
what
there's-
happened to this person?
There's
Right, yeah.
someone giving that much of a movie star performance, and she's like, "Why has that person not been a presence in my conscious life?"
Yeah.
And I was
Right.
like, I don't know what to tell you. Like she's one of those people where it kind of feels like we did her dirty.
Yeah.
There was
I
that
don't
weird
know.
fucking thing where Damon dumped her on Oprah.
What?
Do you remember this?
Man, for a blandly charming man, Matt Damon has done a lot of weird shit on TV.
He's got some baggage. Because he and Minnie Driver were dating after Good Will Hunting, and everyone loved it because it was like, oh, the people from the movie found true love. And then, like, a year after that, I want to say, he went on Oprah and he was like, so Oprah was like, what about you and Minnie? And he was like, yeah, it's over between us.
Damn.
And she's like, that was the first I
was
had
news
heard
to
of
me.
it. Yeah.
Sheesh. Matt.
Matt?
Why is he always doing crazy things?
I don't know. But this was like that moment where it felt like she was going to be like a major presence.
But she is phenomenal at villains.
Yes.
And I do think she is good at finding the human core to negative characters. Beyond the Lights.
I was going to say, I think was one of my nominees that year.
She's fantastic
Yes.
in that. She's on that show now. I don't watch it. What's it
She
called?
was on Speechless, which just got canceled.
Oh, it just got canceled? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's too bad. People like that show, right?
She should have played Thanos. I mean, you're making this
You
point.
think she should play Thanos?
No, 'cause you're saying
Interestingly, she dated Josh Brolin for a while.
Did she really?
Yeah.
I think they were married.
They were engaged. They were engaged.
When was that?
2001?
Weird. Before he marries Diane Lane?
Yes.
You'd have
married
to
her in
ask him.
2004.
I'd have to ask Josh.
Yeah, call him up.
Takes a toll. I don't know. I can't do a Thanos.
Takes a toll. Takes a
This day carries a heavy toll. That's what he said.
Takes a toll. I don't know.
No.
It's weird. For a character so iconic, there is no Thanos impression. You know?
Let me bring me the sugar. Put in some water. Sugar and water. Sugar and water. When I snap my fingers, I want sugar and water. And Thanos. I want you to take the Infinity Stones and put them in some water. Gemstones and water.
Just for the listener, Ben's checking his phone.
Yep.
Oh, weird. What could be on there that's more interesting than this?
Ben is doing taxes.
Don't bring up taxes to me.
Oh, boy. Okay. David's
No, I'm
stressed about
joking.
taxes.
I'm not stressed about taxes. Jeez, famous last words. I shouldn't have said that. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, yeah. I love Irontown. It feels like a D&D. I mean, D&D podcaster.
Oh, yeah,
it
for
feels
sure.
like a great location. Irontown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a cool
Yeah, I
city.
mean, this is true of like most of Miyazaki's movies. I feel this way, like really strongly about Spirited Away, about this idea like that the worlds that these movies introduce feel like they are going to go on after the credits end,
Yes.
even when you stop watching it. Like it is
Absolutely.
the world is so. There's so many like crystallized facts about this world, and there are so many systems and engines driving this world that like you get the impression that like this thing was going before the movie started, and it will continue to go after the movie ends.
Well,
which is a
he's
really
good at
you
that.
know.
And
Yeah.
not to harp on the leper thing, but talking about what would be different in a Disney version of this movie.
Probably wouldn't have any lepers.
You don't introduce an element like that if the hero isn't going to somehow solve,
Yeah,
or
he
cure them.
finds like the leprosy leaf.
Right.
They mash it into
Right,
a
the
paste
forest
and it cures
spirits
them. Right.
Clear their skin. Like, that's just an element you're introducing.
An
You're like,
exfoliation spirit.
right. You're like, this is part of the like tapestry of this city,
Yep.
and here are people who live a very, very difficult life,
Yeah.
and then the movie goes on.
Right.
And when the movie ends, you think about the fact that they are just still there, wrapped in bandages, building guns.
But then this is also a movie where you're like, okay, all right, Irontown, this is a lot to handle, but I think I'm beginning to grasp
yeah.
like all the various moving parts in this movie. And then like the big wolf shows up with a girl whose face is, she's got a crazy mask and like
Right.
blood on her face.
She's sucking blood out of the wolf's leg.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, so who's this now? This is a whole other thing?
And you're like, that's Princess Mononoke? And they're like, no, Mononoke is kind of an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got a different name, but they also sort of call her Princess Mononoke. But right, that really just sort of means like spirit princess.
Yeah, it's like King of the Campus, you know? Right, her name is not Mononoke.
No, son.
Right.
Son.
Yes. In another very dark element, her parents were frightened by this wolf and just threw her at the wolf.
Do you think that they had an issue with the wolf being 12 feet tall? And
You think the
talking?
size was the
it's
issue?
a big wolf.
It's a big wolf.
Yeah. When a wolf that big challenges you, you have no other option. You have to yeet your baby right at the wolf.
You do.
And because the wolf already won.
Right.
The wolf is bigger. So the baby has always belonged to the wolf.
Do you think? Do you think it was the goal was? Were they trying to like distract the wolf by giving him the baby, or were they trying to use the baby as like a projectile? Where they're like, maybe if we hit the wolf hard enough with the baby, we'll knock him out.
I mean, when my son was an infant,
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
when did you
his-
throw your son at a wolf?
What was the first time you threw your son? at a
Right.
wolf?
Or
I
any
think-
large creature that was maybe a god of some sort.
I don't know if if everyone listening to this knows who I am, so I'm going to go ahead and clarify that I've never thrown my son. But I do,
it's your word against ours. But
I have to imagine
This is our house, our rules.
I have to imagine his ballistic properties left something to be desired.
Really. Good babies tend to be a little squishy.
My
Soft
parents
bones, soft
threw
bones.
me at a really aggressive-looking cockroach.
Well, that would do it. That would probably.
did you squish it, or did you bounce
it'll
right
do the
off?
job.
They raised me.
Now, Griffin, you have not met Ben, so for context,
He was raised by roaches.
Yes.
and we genuinely have no idea whether that's true or not. But this is a man I've known for almost a decade, and I don't know.
Your version of this is Joe's apartment. Then that's your
Yeah.
Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
your mid '90s MTV generation movie, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Right, Ben's been living a pretty steady Joe's apartment life from childhood to present day.
Should we reboot Joe's apartment as Ben's apartment? Should that be on our blank check pictures? List?
Yeah. If by reboot you mean should we place cameras
Yeah, should
in
we
Ben's
just film
apartment?
Ben? Yeah, right.
Sell it to MTV.
It's a reality show, baby. That's cheap production.
They
right
love
there.
unscripted.
Yeah.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
He's a roach boy, so representation.
Right,
Yeah,
right. That
Not
helps.
a lot of
yeah.
roach boys out
Not a
there.
ton of roaches on the TV, unless Jay Roach has got a new political target. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he does, but it's a movie.
Yeah. Well, it's just for TV. Oh no, he didn't do the TV one.
No, he's doing the movie Roger Ailes.
Okay, Griffin, what do you think about the new popular Hollywood trend of everyone making movies and TV shows about Roger Ailes, everyone's favorite character?
Deceased Fox News executive.
Bored.
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 Bored. You're bored of it?
I'm bored of trying to think of an opinion
Yeah.
about it. I've been sitting here trying to think of an opinion, and then my mind was like, why don't you think about the very big meatballs that you have in your refrigerator instead?
Whoa.
Oh,
So then I started
Meatballs.
thinking about those meatballs, and I couldn't I apologize. I couldn't pretend to care.
No apologies
About-
necessary.
I've
Yeah.
assumed, I have not seen the show, but I assume that it is mostly like Roger Ailes walks into a room and they're like doing a presentation and he's like, how about eviler? Right? Like, and then the movie's going to be the same thing. Like,
What if we lied?
yeah. Someone's like, I thought like we're like a TV channel where we like do the news. And he's like, okay. But what if it was evil? And they
Right.
were like, great, we'll make millions. That's
Right.
the movie, right? That's
Right.
the whole
Is it-
movie.
Is there one makeup artist who is just making bank who did the Dick Cheney movie and like anytime they need a very bad looking
He's your jowl
older
guy.
gentleman?
He's the jowliest makeup guy out
jowl
there.
master.
Right. He
Right.
did Churchill too. He
Right.
did Darkest Hour. He's all
Right.
jolly up.
It's the same. Hollywood has one set of prosthetic jowls.
Yeah, it's
that is just going around the horn.
Yeah.
He just fills them with like yogurt or whatever, and they like wobble around.
You know what's so funny? There are actors who look like that. And
That's
seemingly
true.
every time someone makes a movie or a show like this, they're like, no, I gotta pick someone who looks really different.
Right? Because then it's more fun. It's like, wow,
But like Damian Lewis playing Toronto Mayor Doug Ford,
he's doing that.
They did it.
Oh Jesus!
they made a movie. And you're like, oh, notoriously svelte and handsome man?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I'm looking at the pictures. Okay,
Just feels like such a burden to give someone jowls when jowls occur in nature.
some of these Ben are fake. Okay, there we go. That's all right. Anyway,
I heard Christian Bale. He just kind of puffed his cheeks up naturally. It was all method.
yeah.
No
He's like a
makeup at all.
bullfrog. He can just
Yeah.
inflate.
The whole movie is him holding his breath. That's why he says his lines really quickly. I think we should be evil.
Don't worry, I'll take care of most of the stuff, Mr. President. I'm gonna shoot my friend in the face.
So Princess Mononoke.
Yep. Yeah. So come on, San. She attacks Irontown.
Yes.
She has a big fight.
She's raised by wolves.
She and
raised by
Ashok
wolf.
and Naki turn her out.
gods.
Yeah, she's raised by wolf.
Got no allegiance to humans.
No, dislikes them actually quite a great deal.
Thinks they're
if you interpret, and it's subtle. You
Yeah,
might miss it.
right,
It takes a
right.
lot of interpretation,
Right.
but she will say something like, "I don't like humans."
Yes.
at all.
Right, that was
I do
not
not like
fan.
them.
That was when I started to go like, I feel like maybe what they're teeing up is that she doesn't like
She
humans.
like wolves.
She like wolves.
Yeah,
She likes
she does like wolves.
forest.
I really like how like ugly the fights are.
Yeah.
in this movie, the first like fight that you get with San in it is on this like mountainside, and they are going up this very narrow path. And here she comes on a wolf's back with two wolves flanking, just like running down the mountain. And instantly you're like, this is going to be really fucking bad. all these guys have ancient guns, and they're on a very narrow path on a mountainside. Like, this is gonna suck for everyone involved. And sure enough, like, dudes go flying off the mountain. Dudes get chomped to bits. A wolf gets shot and goes flying off the mountain. Like, instantly. It's so fast and ugly and not like this neat little choreographed ballet. It's just what would happen if 3 big wolves fought a bunch of dudes with ancient rifles on the side of a mountain.
Yeah, they're inelegant in a way that's interesting because the movie doesn't have these like, oh, that's fucking awesome moments.
Yeah.
Like, I think he doesn't want people to get off on the violence.
Right. Even though every time someone shows up, you're like imagining the cheaper version of this movie where San is like the cool hero, right?
Right.
And instead he's like, she's frightening. Like, she is literally what someone raised by wolves would be like.
Right.
Where, like, she is close to inhuman.
Yes.
And, like, Ashitaka, you want to be like, all right, I'm with this guy, right? He's like the audience surrogate. But he's like, well, for one, he has an evil arm. But two, he's kind of dopey.
Yes.
I don't know. He's genuinely baffled by most of the things going on.
Yeah.
Well, it's because he doesn't understand why it can't be like how it is.
Right. Where's the
at his
harmony,
spot.
guys?
Yeah,
Where's
it's
that balance?
Yeah, the pretty soon after the like mountainside fight, and after he meets everybody in town and sees San with her blood face across the river.
She's got blood face.
She got blood face. It's
face.
big. It's on the poster. She's got a blood face. Is when like the big fight in town happens, and the whole time Ashitaka's like, how can I make this all stop? Right. It's like, dude, you've been in this town for like 15 minutes, and instantly he's like, let me just get in here. Hey, this fight is bad, and have you thought about not doing it? And I feel like everybody in that entire sequence is like, dude,
we're into this fight. We want to do it.
We like this fight.
Yeah,
this is it. We like this a lot.
We've
been
been
rooting for this fight.
He's trying to pass the Dent Act. He wants to make
crime illegal. That's
crime
true.
illegal,
Yes,
much
yes.
like Harvey Dent.
Do you know about the Dent Act, Griffin? We've
Have you
talked
heard about
about
this?
it.
Where it makes crime you're not supposed to do.
In the Dark Knight Rises, it's set after the heroic, historic passage of the Dent Act, which made crime illegal.
Because
before that, there had been crime in Gotham.
And what was
right.
But then
weird
Harvey
was-
Dent died, and they were like, Dent Act. We should name an act after him about now crime is bad.
Because people didn't like the crime, but they were like, well, what are you going to do about it?
It's allowed.
Yeah, it's legal. So
Batman comes in, but he can't do it all. And the Dent Act gets passed.
Where's Falcone?
why?
He robbed and bombed a bank.
Yeah, but like that's fine.
That's his prerogative.
Right, I'm checking the
That's what
books for
a-
like a Dent Act or nope, no,
Yeah,
nothing
mind
here.
your own
It's not a
business,
death
Batman.
act, dude. Hey, so you're just beating up that scarecrow guy. What did he do?
He threw nightmare dust in people's faces.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's okay.
We liked it.
We like it. Some people like that.
We love having terrible nightmares.
The craziest thing is that Gotham had a police force.
Yes.
They just didn't have anything to do.
Yeah.
They just sat around being like, Dent Act, are you going to do anything? You gonna get on that? Nothing happened.
Every morning they take out their phone, they check the weather, and then they go, let's see if crime is... Nope, still legal.
Still legal. Okay. And then in Dark Knight Rises, it is illegal, and then Bane blows up a football field, and they check,
Yeah.
and they're like, Dent Act. Not legal to blow up a football field.
Get him. Fuck him, Batman.
Oh, what a great movie.
I mean, that's why Bane's the greatest villain of all.
Right. Because he's the one who dares defy the Dent Act.
Right, the other guys, they can claim ignorance.
Right.
Ra's al Ghul can be like, I thought this was cool. I thought everyone was going to like this. Burn London to the ground.
Yeah.
David, we're all kids at heart.
Yes, that's true. And you know what kids love? Just like grown-ups.
Toys.
Subscription boxes!
Oh, yeah, that too.
We're all used to the subscription box format at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Food box.
You got
Wellness box.
you got food in the mail.
Random cool things box.
Curated boxes.
Very...
Bone boxes. My business.
Yeah, your business bone boxes, which is, of course, skyrocketing.
It's doing really well.
But what about a subscription box for your kids?
Okay, that makes sense.
It's fun and educational, helps them develop creative confidence to change the world.
That's awesome.
Okay, great.
Our kids are our future.
That's true.
And it's our job to prepare them for the world, empower them to be creative, confident, and fearless in all their endeavors with KiwiCo's innovative projects.
So you're saying you believe the children are our future?
Do.
Okay.
Excuse me, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Griffin.
Griffin is watching.
Excuse me, I'm trying to watch a movie, okay?
Yeah.
So if you guys, whatever boring, grown-up, super adult, boring, businessy, grown-up thing you're talking about,
No!
if you could just keep it quiet because I'm trying to watch a movie and I'm youthful and childlike.
Well, I understand, but like this is actually like a bunch of boxes filled with toys and fun things for kids. Yeah, the Kiwi crates. Got really any age, right? But they give you can get one for 0 to 2 years, 2 to 4, 5 to 8. Pick your age, you get the right kind of crate. But they have super cool hands-on projects for kids to make learning about STEAM fun. STEAM, I mean like science, technology, engineering, art, and math.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like hot air water.
Oh, yeah, like water vapor that's
Yeah.
hot. No. I was talking about science, technology, engineering, art, and math.
Cool.
I personally got a koala crate. I don't have any children yet myself, but I have very, very, very close friends.
I'm sorry. I just
2-year-old.
paused the movie for a second. I
yeah.
just need to interject retired bit. Please continue.
And got him a koala crate. And look, this stuff is fun.
Right.
Which is the most important thing about toys,
Yep.
obviously. But they're also like cool little crafty factory boxes that like teach you how to put stuff together and do things, and I don't know, like
That's
learn
awesome.
about science and math and stuff, and like it's just better than toys that are just I don't know, like a gun.
Right.
Like what if you had a pretend gun that you shot people with?
It's
like,
engaging kids to use their
this
minds
stuff.
to be creative. And I think it's just like a really fun, unique thing that I don't think like all the other kids have.
There are 7 lines to choose from. Kids of all ages. You got the tadpole box, koala box, that's the one I got. You got the kiwi box, the atlas box, the doodle box, the tinker box, Eureka crate. That's for, just to be clear, ages 14 to 104. So, listener, if you're 105, you're out of this. Can't use it.
They cut off at 104.
104. See, it says it right there. That's like engineering.
I guess
design.
by that point, if you're still alive, you shouldn't do this anymore.
They're like, that's it.
You're done.
That's it. No
Yeah.
more crates for you.
Yep.
You get a new box each month. Each month, the kid gets a new, fun, engaging project with all the supplies they need to challenge themselves creatively. Comes with supplies, comes with instructions, comes with an educational magazine to learn more about the crate's theme. It's a convenient, affordable way to encourage your children to be anything they want to be.
And here's the thing, too. You could just let them do it on their own, or you could do it together.
Yes, exactly. There's no commitment. You can cancel anytime. Monthly options start at $19.95 a month, including shipping. So for my listeners, you can go to kiwico.com/blank to get your first month free. Every day counts when it comes to making a difference, so don't miss out on this amazing opportunity. So just go to kiwico.com/blank, get your first month free. That's kiwico.com/blank. What happens next? He takes Sen to the forest.
Well, there's a badass sword fight.
There is yes,
one
there's
badass
a
sword
truly
fight in this
badass
movie.
sword fight, which I believe was the reason I wanted to see this movie, because I saw like some trailer that had this sword fight and it looked really cool. And also, I was just a big Billy Crudup fan.
Really? Was that?
I don't think I was a big Billy Crudup fan.
It is weird.
It's
what were you going to say?
it's
Sorry.
San using this just like dagger and just wild wolf, like just attacking every quarter of a second versus Eboshi, who is just moving like smooth as shit, like always, and blocking everything. And then after that happens for a while, Ashitaka just like goes in and gut checks both of them, like, "Oop, fight over."
It is
Bye.
It is cool when he just like runs out of the village and they like shoot him and shit, and nothing.
That
yeah,
whole
right.
sequence is so long.
He gets arm power. It is very long. And then takes her to the forest. Who shows up? Crazy forest antler, scary face spirit man. Who also at night is a giant.
Yes.
Yeah, giant.
All of
ghost.
the above. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now, no one in the movie says any of these things. You just kind of have to put it together. They kind of
yes.
generally talk about the forest spirit.
Yeah, but you could think that it was not a literal elk-like
Right.
being.
Yeah.
But when
Right.
he shows up, it is very much a like leans over to girlfriend, like that's
Yeah.
the forest spirit,
Also, his
right? Like,
feet. I feel like the feet stepping and then growing.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool, and that sort of gives me a
cool.
sense that that's a
Right.
nature
This isn't just a regular animal.
yeah.
Right.
Well, and also his head looks delicious.
It does.
It looks like the kind of head you could eat and get immortality
Yeah,
from.
yeah.
I
You
will
want to cut
say,
that head off.
the second he came on screen, I went to Amazon and was like, "Do they have any forest spirits
Really?
heads for sale?" I was like, "I would love a forest spirit head."
Oh, sous vide that
Yeah.
at like
Oh.
129 for 2
I
hours.
was checking Fresh Direct. I was like, "Does anyone put it into Yelp?"
That is fall off the bone immortality.
Yeah, right. It's like side effects. You will live forever. That's
Yeah.
like yeah, really juicy. Tends to you. As long as you like don't overcook it, it's really moist. Also, you'll live forever
You'll
if
live
you eat
forever.
this. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that forest spirit. He's cool. I'm just looking at pictures with Ben right now. There's big forest spirit.
Yeah.
That's the big boy. The Night Walker, I think is what he's called. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. He's cool.
So he shows up and his head is on his body.
For now.
Yeah, he's got it. He's got his own head.
Right.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy when he's got his head. It's when he doesn't have it that he throws a real shit fit.
He does turn into a bit of a stinky baby when he doesn't have his head. That's true, and overrides all of
Can
humanity.
you blame him?
I don't know.
Can you?
I think if someone chopped my head off, I would just react by being dead and not doing anything.
That's true.
Yeah, I think I'd be pretty chill if someone chopped my head off.
And we also meet the boars, right? The boar,
Yes.
the crazy blind boar god, Okoto.
Played by Keith David.
Played by Keith
who's
David
just
in the
like
dub, who is like the greatest voice actor ever.
The greatest, yes.
Right?
Yeah, also one of the greatest physical actors ever.
Yeah.
Just kind of one of the best actors, period.
He's an amazing actor. I love him. Yes, I love him,
Yes.
on the screen as well. But he really is. He's like the greatest voice actor of all time.
Yeah. I mean, he's
Along
got
with,
one
like Mel Blanc,
the
or
greatest
whatever, right,
voices
yeah.
in history.
Right.
My brother and I were talking about what is the best Keith David movie, and we were like, well, is the question what's the best movie he's been in, or what's the best use of Keith David? And then even when we tried to file it under the latter, we were like, well, but there's so many different ways you can use Keith David.
Right.
It's hard to come up with a binary best use.
Yeah, no, I want as much Keith David.
Right. In everything, all the time.
He is in Armageddon with Billy Bob.
He is.
Yeah.
He's the cat in Coraline.
That's true.
He's Cameron Diaz's father in Something About Mary.
If we're doing vocal performance, Dr. Facilier in Princess and the Frog is like
That is a phenomenal performance.
That is a great
probably
performance.
it for
Yes.
me. But if we're going best movie overall, I don't think it's the best movie, but The Thing is one of my favorite
That's the
movies.
thing. Like,
ever
right,
made.
you're like, well, that's like maybe the best film
That might be the
been
best
in.
movie he's ever been in, but
He's not
the
a
star.
big featured.
Right.
Yeah.
But then, like, something like They Live gives you a lot of Keith David, but it's
so
a
good
more
in it.
restrained Keith David, which is still a good flavor.
It's good, but right, but then also like, isn't he like the voice of Ken Burns's jazz, which is just like 10 straight hours of Keith David talking to you about jazz?
I was not aware of this. Is
Hell
that
yeah.
true?
Yeah, narrator.
Keith David?
Yeah.
Talk about jazz for 10 hours?
How many hours we got here? We got 10 episodes, so
Okay, let
I'm
me
gonna
just
guess.
open up my iCal and let me schedule for tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's 1,140 minutes. So
Okay, let me time
Do
that.
do humans even live that long?
which is 19 hours. So it's 19 hours of jazz talk from Keithy.
Just give me 1 second. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second here in my iCal, and I am scheduling one continuous 11-hour orgasm for later tonight. There we go. Okay. You guys want to come over and watch Ken Burns Jazz with
What
me?
if that's on the iCal? You can do that by yourself.
I'm good.
Really? Okay. I'll have fun.
I'll go.
Yeah.
I'll go. I like jazz.
You like the 19-hour PBS documentaries about jazz?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
cool.
my favorite.
Right, that's your favorite. So you usually are disappointed when you go to the movie theater.
That's your favorite genre.
Where you're like, what's
I've never seen a movie.
is
Right,
this? Oh,
you have
right.
to
Sorry,
remember.
right. But, yeah, I just
I have watched a 19-hour documentary about jazz.
right. So, like someone, hey, you want to go see Spider-Man 2? Is it a 19-hour documentary about jazz? No, it's like 2 hours. It's
Yeah.
like Spider-Man battling Doc
Not even like
I got
a small part of it. Like there's not just like a 19-hour section in the middle. That's a documentary about jazz.
I almost got tricked into seeing Whiplash.
Oh boy.
But
Right.
luckily, I sat down in a very comfortable seat in a big dark room, and I had a big bowl of popped corn.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute.
This is a movie.
I've seen movies on TV shows.
Yeah.
I need to get out of here.
Right. You realize,
This isn't going to be 19 hours at all.
thankfully, just in
No.
time, you realize that was not your tempo.
No.
It was not quite your tempo.
Yeah.
What else is going on in Mononoke? The boars are going to fight.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about the scene where he like manages to rescue San and get her out of. She like invaded the village to kill Eboshi.
Right.
They fight. He breaks up the fight. And he's like, "I'm taking San out of here. Y'all can let me do it or not, whatever." And then somebody shoots him.
Right, to give not a shot. Right.
Yeah, and he gets shot straight through his tum-tum, lifts up this huge-ass wooden gate using his spaghetti powers, and then Forest Spirit saves him.
Right.
But doesn't take the curse away, which I think is a weird choice by the Forest Spirit. Fixes the belly wound, leaves that nasty spaghetti mess on his arm.
Well, has he really earned the right to have his curse taken away at this point? You know, there's a difference between, like, saving a guy's life and decursing him.
You could make a good case for that he had earned it by rescuing it. Yes, I think you could. No. But I guess he hasn't learned his lesson yet, which is if you take the spirit creature's head, then things go very bad.
That is the ultimate lesson of this movie.
Right.
You got to learn it.
It's a very simple, sort of moralistic story. It's like a just so story.
Right. Don't take heads.
All children need to learn at a certain age that you should not decapitate a forest spirit.
Don't take anyone's head. I think is a good lesson for kids.
I think this movie's going a little more specific.
It's fine grained.
Yeah.
No, it's like, isn't this movie kind of about like, you know, we were kind of a pain in the ass, and then push came to shove, and we fucking took the fucking forest spirit's head, and that was kind of a pivotal moment for us. We put it back, but it was kind of too late. You know,
now nature knows.
Yeah.
We violated something completely sacrosanct.
Right.
Everything worked out fine, but if you look at nature scoreboard,
right?
What's up?
Yeah.
So you know, just so you know.
It's kind of, you can undo it. You can put the head back, but you can't really.
Nature now knows how we behave when the chips are down. And it's not a pretty look.
That's why this movie is not my favorite Miyazaki, because it is so intense and so like naughty that I rarely want to like knotty.
It's
not
intense,
naughty.
Yeah.
That I rarely want to like
watch.
put it onto right, just to like have fun. But I love that like even scary boar god who's all fucked up. We did this to him. Like you know what I mean? Like even though he's sort of like a quasi villain in the third act, there like This is like a human sickness that's been visited on him.
And it's so great. Like, that scene, I think, is soon after, like, the Boar clan trying to attack the Irontown forces and just getting fucked up. And even, like, the Wolf clan was like, hey, don't do it. You're going to be absolutely just destroyed. And they go ahead with it. And in the last time you saw Akoto, he was, like, presented as this wise...
Yes. Keith David-y.
Yeah, like this wise patriarch of... this clan who, when he finds out that Ashitaka killed his buddy, this god, he was like, wow, thank you for doing that. If I see you again, I am going to have to kill you. But he presents it in like this very wise way. And then the next time you see him, everybody in his clan just got killed. He's got some of this like spaghetti stuff. He's like corrupted by the forces of just not wanting to be dead.
Yeah.
And then you see, like, oh, maybe he's not this, like, untouchable wise, because now he's just, like, afraid and will believe that anything, will believe anything if it means he gets to stay alive.
Right.
And it's such a, like, brilliant, like, switch, where you're, like, the first time you see him, oh, this guy's great. What a wise kid. This is the Wizard of Oz who's coming to save the, and then it's like, no, don't kill me. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to charge. I'm going to kill everything. It's interesting.
Everyone's just trying to survive.
And it brings it back to that first wormy boar. First spaghetti boar.
Yeah.
Right. Like how that, could have happened.
Yeah. Yeah, corrupts us all.
Did we forget anything? This is another reason why this is not my favorite, is I feel like the movie kind of drags a little bit at this part. Like right after you get all the good San Ashitaka like hanging out with the wolves, then a bunch of stuff happens.
Yeah, I am not. The showdown at the end is busy. This is easily his longest movie, I think.
Yeah, this is 2:15.
Yeah,
which most of his movies are like pretty tight 90.
They're starting to get longer though, because like Spirited Away is like a good 2 hours.
Yeah.
Wind Rises is like 2 hours. Howls is like 2 hours. You know, like at this point,
Ponyo is a 19-hour documentary about jazz.
At this point, he's sort of like, okay,
he's
like
out.
I'm the master of Japanese entertainment for the last 50 years. I can maybe take 2 hours to tell my stories.
Sure.
We did jump over the scene where Moro has a conversation with Ashitaka after he like wakes up in their den and goes outside and it's nighttime and it's just him and this giant wolf goddess, and she's like, hey, you should just like jump off this mountain. She's like so great. Like Sana's like, well, the forest spirit likes him, so I'm sure he's okay. And Sana's like, hey, or Moro's like, hey, why don't you come over here? I'll bite your whole head off and eat you.
I know that you're trying really hard to stay alive, but I just want to just like crazy pitch.
My mouth is very big and it has a lot of teeth.
It's so big, and you love my daughter. I think she's into you, but I just want to come and eat half your body.
What if you just die so hard, like the hardest anyone has ever died? Yeah, have you ever done it? Can you say empirically that you know you don't like it? Maybe just die a little bit.
But you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
When you
feel like
die?
that's what this movie is about. Just in general, like we already, even though you have this big epic battle of good versus evil, and you have these like heroes that you're rooting for, like it's not at the end of the day, like and everything is fine.
So you're saying I should stop recycling?
Yeah, right. Exactly. No. It's more just sort of like yes. The forest is still here, and we can try and live in harmony with it, but it is going to be like very difficult battle.
It's what Griffin said. The scoreboard's already up. They've taken note.
Right.
Like, however this ends, this battle, the war will linger.
Yeah.
It is why I think this is the best of the eco adventures. Is like the point of the movie at the end of it is not this like bald face like we are bad to nature and we need to start being better about it.
Yeah.
It is about traditionally the only way this has worked is when there has been some sort of sustainable give and take with nature.
Right.
It's not like it's not this like annihilate like humanity's desire to grow and take what it needs to appease itself. It's like, yeah, you're going to take what you need sometimes. It's all about like figuring out a way that is somewhat sustainable. It's not like, whoa, go nature. Go nature. You're so great. Because in this one, the nature also is a villain sometimes.
Right.
It's terrifying and uncontrollable. Right.
Yeah. That's the crazy thing, because in most of those sort of eco-adventure movies, it's like there's a group of people who are like, I don't know, I think nature's bad. And then the heroes are like, no, we like it. And nature is impartial.
Sure.
Right.
They're just sort of fighting for or against the idea of the thing. And in this movie, it's like, no, nature has a competitive relationship with us. Yeah. Like, nature prioritizes its own needs above our continued existence.
Right. And our existence is, the more there of us that there are, is going to be a problem. For
and
nature.
we're bad.
Right.
Humans are bad.
We're not great.
Very bad.
We're not great.
Yeah. Humans.
But so are boars and apes.
Very true.
Oh, yeah, the apes.
We didn't talk about the apes. They're like gorilla gods who look like they're made of mounds of clay.
Yep.
With glowing eyes.
Yep.
And they much like me understand that everything's bad and everyone's the worst.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of you. Yeah, I forgot about. Yeah.
They're very like, look, come on, this sucks.
Right. They're just like Trump is president,
Yeah, Trump's
guys. Like, what are we? Yeah, this is just a. Bummer.
I'm not going to be in a good mood ever again.
This is when the sort of Akira stuff starts happening, which is like secretly like that's my
That's your
jam.
fave.
Like big wild body horror. Like the end of Akira is like I am like glued to the screen at the end of that movie because it is visually just the wildest shit ever.
That's like Lovecraftian, where it's like trying to represent something
yes.
that you cannot understand.
Right.
And everything like from San getting like swept up in the big boar's evil spaghetti that is just like shooting through her hands. It's like horrifying.
Yeah.
And Ashitaka is just like jumping into the spaghetti and then, of course, the climax of the movie. Like, everything gets so fucked up at this part of the movie, even more so than it has been in the rest of it.
Yeah, it's like the end of Annihilation. It's just like they become, like, consumed by, like, these forces.
Yes. Also very Lovecraftian.
Yes. But it is. It's that body horror thing, but like, extended to, like, nature. It's like body horror for the planet we live on.
Right.
Yeah.
Planet horror? I don't know.
Planet horror. Yeah, planet horror. Why not? Why not
Haxon.
planet horror?
Hexus. That's his name.
And then, of course, as we all know, this movie ends with all of them dabbing. And How You Like Me Now plays.
Right. That was how it went? It wasn't something to do with the forest monster or whatever?
No, I'm pretty sure
Forest spirit?
They do the Dougie.
Right, they do the Dougie, and they dance to the Macarena.
Right. Someone teaches them how to Dougie.
Well, if memory serves,
dance.
Yes.
Lady Eboshi shoots the forest spirit's head, and it falls to the ground, and then everybody starts doing the Dougie because they're happy because nobody liked the forest spirit, actually.
Right, and that's...
Because he was weird, and he had a face like a person, but he had the body of a deer. So when the face part was removed, everyone was psyched.
And that's the kind of integrity that Miyazaki has, because no Hollywood film, especially an animated film, would end with the characters learning how to Dougie.
It is... I don't know. Griffin's just laughing.
Teach him how to Dougie.
I teach him how to Dougie. I just... Even though you know how bad you know that it is a bad idea to cut that head off.
Really bad.
But I love how bad it is right away.
Yes.
It's so bad right away. Yes. And again, the first time I saw it, I'm curious if Griffin had like this reaction. I felt like the climax had happened. San had been sucked up into this noodle beast, and Ashitaka like jumps in trying to save him, and then Moro, the wolf mother, comes and like sacrifices herself to save both of them, while all of Irontown watches. Eboshi had already shot the forest creature, and it like did nothing.
It felt like
so
the movie was over.
Like, yeah. So they save them. Okoto and Moro die. And the forest walker starts to, walk back into the tree line to disappear and stay this like weird ephemeral, and then gets shot right in the neck.
The
head
worst
goes flying
possible
off,
thing happens.
Right.
Then it turns into a living fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh my, I did not think this movie was going to get this bad,
scary.
this dark.
But even though it's scary, also you've got like Billy Bob being like, I don't know, I should like take the head, right?
Yeah.
Isn't the head?
Yeah.
It's kind of the
no one else gonna take it,
right? Like it's like the fucking thing. We need to get that.
The head's the thing.
You also get the most upsetting visual in this movie, which is saying something, which is Moro's decapitated head, like chomping its way across the ground and just biting Lady Eboshi's arm clean off in one go.
Yeah.
It is so wild.
That's a good call.
A lot of loss of limb and head. Well, yeah,
it would be like if at the end of the new Lion King remake, if like Scar came up and just like chomped off one of Nala's arms,
sounds great.
One of Nala's legs at the end. It's so messed up.
The Lion King remake should have had disembodied Scar head.
Yeah,
like when you thought the movie was going to end, and you were like, they haven't really done anything different from the narrative of the original. They're like, now there's an extra 30 minutes
where his head chases people around,
like
snapping
Pac-Man.
at them.
I feel like we've teased that bad things happen a lot when you cut off the forest creature's head. Hell, it's the whole point of the movie.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing Miyazaki's trying to say, but I don't think we've actually said what happens.
Crazy goo. I mean, I mentioned goo.
It turns into this like giant like amoeba kind of thing. This like sparkly amoeba.
It's like Venom.
Oh, it is kind of like Venom.
He is Venom.
Yeah, right. Maybe the forest spirit's been Venom all along.
Maybe. Like
this is
the
the Venom
wind.
prequel. Right.
Yes.
Not
Life.
There you
Yeah.
go. I had to think about what the movie people thought was a Venom prequel.
Right. No,
it's bad. It's bad goo. This is bad goo,
it's
folks.
Really bad goo, and like
it's not good goo.
No,
it kills everything it touches.
It's pretty crummy goo. I think it's bad. It does kill everything it touches, which is one thing against it. It cannot be reversed.
No.
You get a really great exchange between Ashitaka and this like guard, like Lady Eboshi's bodyguard, who has been just kind of a dick the entire movie. This big, built dude wearing this heavy armor, and the goo is like spreading all around them by this side of this lake. And Ashitaka jumps in, and the guard is like, I can't swim. And Ashitaka's like, walk across the bottom. It's the best. And then you see him actually doing it. I've always really enjoyed that, because Ashitaka gets like weirdly sassy in the middle of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
The whole thing's rad. It's scary. I don't like it.
But, I mean, to your point, like, the fact that it feels like the movie has hit its, like, denouement before shit hits the fan.
Right.
By the
Goo
time...
hits the fan.
Right. Before goo hits the fan. By the time, like, all hell is unleashed, you're just like, oh, there's no possible happy ending for this movie.
Right.
Like, this movie can end with, like, a temporary reprieve.
Right. The best thing you can get is sort of like, we stopped the worst thing from happening, and we now have learned a valuable and frightening lesson.
Yes.
About messing with nature.
Yeah.
And forest spirits.
No good, very bad, don't do it.
No good, very bad, don't do it.
Yeah, that's
I actually feel like this movie has a surprisingly
calm, uplifting ending.
Ending, right? Because they managed to get the head back to the beast, and it die. I guess it peacefully ascends into heaven.
It does die, though.
It does say.
It does die, yeah. And so now it's just a regular forest.
Right.
Like, those were the stakes for the nature side,
Yeah.
which is just like, if this happens, then this is just a regular forest, not a, like, magic godhood forest.
Right, then the forest can't fight back anymore. Now
Right.
humanity can just kind of slowly chip away at it.
But the wounds are gonna linger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And at the end, like, Son's like, I'm going to go to the forest and protect it. And Ashitaka's like, okay, I guess I'll go help with Irontown. And Lady Ibushi's like, we're going to make a better Irontown this time. A less bad, mean Irontown. And the whole thing is just like, hey, these kids are going to be all right.
Right.
2.5 minutes ago, you were like, this is fucking Third Impact. Like, they are all about to be turned into goo.
Yeah.
It's like, this is it. What a wild ending to
And
this
then
movie.
it ends with like, yeah, you know, your 20s are weird for everybody. You gotta find your way.
They all,
yeah.
some of them had to lose limbs, and they all had to witness the almost end of the world. But then they figured out they should be nicer to trees.
And make a new, better
then
Irontown.
The kind of like a top spinning at the end of Inception that happens during this whole like apocalypse sequence where the goo is killing everything. All the Kodama are falling from the trees, like I mentioned earlier. Like, all of them, dozens just falling down head first, dead. And then at the end of the movie, you see a little one of them just like pop up out of the forest, just like one little Kodama pop up, and it's like, I get it, but also it's still kind of scary. So I would be dope. It would be dope if the forest did not have these little
So you don't like
death
the Kodama.
totems.
You
Not a
want
big
them out of
fan
there.
Too much.
Like, when you buy a
Let
new
them out.
house, you hire like some kind of Ghostbuster to go around and like banish those guys.
Get rid of
Suck
Kodama.
all those guys right up. Now, if I'd seen my boy Totoro like walk around in the background, like,
He's
"Ooh,
cool.
This seems like a chill. He's cool. He can stay.
Right.
Cat Bus can stay.
Catbus can stay.
Right, you would trust Totoro as a Kodama like chaperone. If they're under his
Yes.
watch.
Right, he seems pretty benevolent.
You're with Totoro? That's fine. Come on in.
What happens if you chopped his head off, though?
Totoro's head.
He just turned into living flame. Like, what's the result?
I think our flesh would sear off the bone
Right, exactly. The very cinema like
immediately.
explodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is like the first kind of like proper box office game we
Yes,
can do.
we're gonna play the box office game now. Griffin, Griffin's gonna try and. Weird to talk to two
how
Griffins.
do you say this?
Mr. Newman is going to try and guess the top 5 films of the weekend that this movie came out in America. Now, this movie came out
Now,
on 8
I want to say, I don't know if
screens.
you're aware of this, David. I believe you guys played a round of this on
that's
Bim
right.
Bam recently, right?
That's
With
right. No, I am aware
the
of that.
release of Major League or Major League 2?
This was a long time. This
Okay.
was many episodes ago.
Yes.
To survive the level of output we have, I have to instantly
You block
forget
everything
we
out.
did
Okay.
last week. Yeah.
You have, I believe, played some version of the box office game. Griffin,
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
this is right. We've done a box office game right around here. Not
Interesting.
this one, though.
Okay. End of 97?
Yeah, it's October 29th, 1999. It's 99. Remember,
Oh,
this
it
is
doesn't
America.
come out until 99.
This is
Right,
America.
right,
Came
right,
out in
right.
Japan in 97.
Right.
Makes it to America 2 years later.
Okay.
So this is 1990, 20 years ago. It's the year that defined cinema history.
October
Oh my God.
99. Okay.
And number 1 is one of the great movies of 1999. It's a horror remake about a house.
It's the House on Haunted Hill?
It's House on Haunted
That was
Hill.
number 1?
Number 1.
Wow.
Opening weekend.
That's a bummer.
$15 million. Tay Diggs?
Yeah. I mean,
Ali Larder.
Chris Kattan was
Chris
a box
Kattan?
office guarantee at that point.
That movie made $40 million.
Wow.
House on Haunted Hill.
And coming out like 5 months after The Haunting.
Yes, same year as The Haunting.
Like it felt like kind of like a secondhand goods after The Haunting, and it still did fairly well.
Incredibly long tagline.
What's the tagline?
6 strangers have the chance to make $1 million each. All they have to do is make it through the night alive. It's a very long
Wow,
tagline.
okay.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
But now you get it, right? They could make $1 million.
Yeah, now I know exactly what it's about.
Do any of them make it? I've never seen it.
Never seen it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2, I believe, also has Tay Diggs. So Tay Diggs, I think, he had the number 1 and 2 movies this week.
Is it The Best Man?
Yes,
shit.
It's The Best Man.
Tay's on top.
Coming of age drama, The Best Man. About
Wow.
like, what if one of your friends got married?
Yeah. Tay.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I've seen The Best Man. That's the plot, right?
Yeah.
It's like they're getting married. Wow.
Right. It's a fantasy.
We've
film.
all dated each other, right?
Yeah.
So Diggs was on top.
Diggs is on top.
Yeah, he dug his way to the top.
America dug Diggs. At this point in time, America dug digs.
We were into it.
And then the third is a movie, we've definitely discussed this before. It's a crime thriller. One of those, young lady, old man crime
Is it
thrillers.
The Bone Collector?
It's not The Bone Collector.
Fuck. We definitely have discussed a weekend very close to this
We
weekend.
have. I think the next or the one right after.
Yeah. Is this like when The Insider came out or something?
The Insider's probably like a couple.
Okay, this is another. It's an old man, young lady.
Old
thriller.
man, young lady crime R-rated thriller. Yes, the next weekend is The Insider.
Interesting. Okay. Are either of them cops?
I think he's a cop.
You think he's a cop and she's not?
She's a prisoner.
She's a prisoner?
Oh, boy.
Is it Double Jeopardy?
Bingo!
Oh.
Double Jeopardy. Tommy Lee Jones and Ashley Judd. Tommy Lee Jones is a
Sorry,
cop,
I didn't know
right?
if
Oh,
can
you're
I
allowed to
play?
guess.
Should I have said that?
Yes.
I apologize.
No,
I'm
that
sorry,
is
he's
all
a
you-
parole officer, so sort of like cop adjacent.
Interesting.
Double Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Sometimes murder is legal.
Yeah. Do you think Billy Bob was on the bench for that one?
Murder isn't always a crime. He wasn't.
Yeah.
No, Tommy Lee Jones answered his phone.
Yeah,
right.
exactly. He picked up the phone. Double Jeopardy? I can't do him.
Okay. Yeah. He's impossible to do.
He shouldn't be. He's got like a great Texan accent.
Brolin nailed it.
That's true. He did nail it.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Number 4. David's thinking.
It was a big
David's
movie
deep
this
in
year.
thought.
Genuinely a very big deal movie. Now somewhat ridiculed, I think, for its sort of like huge cultural impact at the time.
Not American Beauty.
It is American
It is
Beauty.
American Beauty.
Yeah. American Beauty.
Was this like it had just come out?
7th week.
This was its 7th.
That movie
week?
came out September 15th, and it just sort of like trundled along. Like it just, it like never left the top 10.
It made so
I thought it wasn't like
money.
a big. I thought it wasn't like a big
Oh,
success.
It made
it was a
$130
huge
million.
No, I know it was a huge hit. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I guess.
it was
That's-
huge.
I guess if it's a huge hit, it's going to make lots of money.
No, but that's the crazy thing is
It was like a box office hit.
Right.
And it's like, what's it about? This guy, he's sick of being married and shit
Right.
and wants to sleep with a teenager.
right. A sex criminal plays a man who wants to fuck his daughter's friend and jerks off in the shower a bunch. No, that's the thing. Like Best Picture winners don't do that well anymore.
No, they're not guaranteed to like clean up. Anymore.
Occasionally, something that already was a hit will win Best Picture, like The Departed. But something like American Beauty, which like made a bunch of money and then won Best Picture and then made even more
Right,
money.
just kept making money. They just
Yeah.
brought it back and it made more money.
People were like, "Well, we got to. It's an American obligation."
It was an American movie.
It was an American movie, American Beauty.
But like even Green Book didn't do like that
No.
well here, and then it crushed in China. Did you know that?
I did. And every other country, like Green
Other
Book's,
Griffin,
like,
did you know
huge
that
in
Green
Europe.
Book was a colossal sensation in China?
No,
Yes.
I did not know that. It's always a shock to find out what the Chinese movie going audience
They
enjoys.
loved it. They loved Green Book. Give me that
Green Book and Warcraft, man. That's all we need.
That's right. Number 5.
How much
is
had American Beauty made at this point?
54.
Yeah, so it's
so
like
it's halfway
yeah,
into
not
its run.
even,
Not
yeah,
even.
crazy.
Right. Number 5 is an inspirational true story movie.
It's an inspirational true story movie.
Yeah.
Was this kind of like an Oscar play?
Yes, and it got 1 Oscar nomination, maybe 2,
Acting?
acting, and I think a song.
Big Daddy. Adam Sandler's Big Daddy.
That's an inspirational movie, David.
Yeah,
That's
very
probably a true
inspirational. He
story.
becomes the biggest daddy of them all. I don't fucking know.
Can I say something very
Oh,
embarrassing?
Jesus.
It's well established on this podcast. I think it actually is, and I almost never talk about it. I love Guns N' Roses.
No, but you have talked about it.
Sure, but it's like one of the biggest outliers in my personality where
Right.
people are like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, they're my favorite band."
Right.
I, for a very long time, thought that "Sweet Child of Mine" was an original composition written and performed by Sheryl Crow for the film Big Daddy.
Oh, did she like cover it for Big Daddy
Yeah,
or
and I was
something?
like, this song fucking rules. Why isn't everyone jamming on this amazing
Were
song?
you already a Guns N' Roses fan?
No, then like
Okay.
3 years later, my cousin got me Appetite for Destruction for my birthday, and I was like, wait, they did a cover of a Sheryl Crow song? And then I did the timeline stuff.
You're a weird guy.
You know when you said that this was going to be embarrassing?
Yeah.
Bingo.
You had no idea. I was like, how's this not the
What's up
biggest
with
song
this?
in America? Everyone should be loving Sweet Child of Mine.
Now I want to hear. I had no idea Sheryl Crow did it. Anyway, that's not this movie.
Okay.
To be clear.
I have a guess.
Go ahead.
And the guess is from the fact that you said
Big
an
Daddy, by the
acting-
way, is 60th at the box office this week. It made $30,000.
one of the biggest movies of the year, though.
Huge movie. Huge movie.
My guess, based off the fact that you said it was an acting nomination and a song nomination, is Music of the Heart.
Correct. Directed by
Wes Craven.
Wes Craven. After making, 18 horror movies, was like, what if I made a movie about like a nice violin teacher in the Bronx?
It's so inspirational. It's scary.
Yeah. A friend of mine is in that movie.
A friend of mine is in that movie as well.
Yeah,
Who's your friend?
Well, we can talk about it off mic.
Okay, I went to high school with someone where that was her only acting job.
Is she one of the violinists?
I think she is.
Yeah.
Because the kids, there are like 5 actors playing each kid at different ages, right? Yeah.
Right. I've never seen it, but apparently they were in the Music of the Heart.
Can I guess who your friend was who was in Music of the Heart and you don't... if I
No,
get it
let's
right,
do
you
it
say
off mic.
yes?
No, let's do it.
Is it Meryl Streep?
No.
Okay. And it's 100% a shot you don't take.
Is it Angela Bassett?
Oh, yeah, Angela Bassett's in it.
Gloria Estefan?
I had no idea.
Right? I think Gloria Estefan, it's one of her rare acting roles.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Okay, can I guess? Now we're playing the Music of the Heart game. Can I guess who the... Is
Main
there,
guy?
Yeah.
Shoot.
It's like a romantic lead?
Sure.
I've never seen this movie.
Okay.
I'm going off of my memory of the VHS
Give
box.
it a shot.
Is it Aidan Quinn?
It is Aidan
Wow.
Quinn. He of the 2 different colored eyes.
He has 2 different colored eyes?
Yes, it's a plot point in Practical Magic.
Never knew it. Well, this is a great way for this episode to end.
Kieran Culkin is in it.
Okay.
Cloris Leachman. I'm done. That's it. Music of the Heart.
Yeah, and the song was In Sync. This was that famous Best Song year at the Oscars.
It was Bob Dylan.
No, that's the following
Oh, that's
year.
the next year.
This is the year that Phil Collins wins for You'll Be in My Heart.
Right, but you have like
shit.
the South Park song and
You
what
have Blame Canada.
Blame Canada.
You have Music of the Heart by NSYNC. You have When She Loved Me,
The
Randy
Toy
Newman,
Story
Sarah
song,
McLachlan,
right,
and you have Amy Mann, Save Me.
Right, and then fucking Phil Collins won for whatever. Tarzan.
You'll Be in My Heart.
You'll
for
be
the
in
for
my-
the greatest.
You'll be in my heart.
It's the number
Something
one
like
best
that, right?
song.
Is it?
yeah.
I wish they had nominated Trash in the Camp instead.
Is that a Tarzan song?
So they were like,
Trash in the camp?
we're into this like adult
Is that
contemporary.
like trap music? Is it?
Oh, I'm about to remind
It's
you.
Rosie O'Donnell based
Right?
trap music.
Thank you. I'm so glad you remember this.
I remember that when she
Yeah.
arrives in the movie, she says, "The fun has arrived."
She definitely does.
Yes, I remember that.
But they offered her the role, and she was like, great, I get to sing one of those classic Disney songs. And they're
Right.
like, no, we're like thinking of going in a little different direction in this one.
Sure.
It's just going to be Phil Collins singing songs over the soundtrack. The characters don't sing. And she was like, I will only do it if I can sing. So there's a scene where the monkeys destroy the human camp. And while it's happening, Rosie O'Donnell scats. And it's called Trash in the Camp.
Trash in the
They
camp.
didn't want to break the reality by making it a full musical, so instead the animals make like percussive noises while breaking the
Right.
humans' belongings, and Rosie O'Donnell goes like skibadoo babadee babadabadabadabadabada. And it goes on for 5 minutes, and that film won an Academy Award.
The only thing I remember about that, the only thing I know is that Chris Rock was the first choice for that role.
For Turk?
Yeah, and they offered it to him, and he was like, "No, thank you." So then they went to Rosie. I remember he gave some interview. He was like, "They wanted me to like play a monkey," and I was like, "No, it's okay. I won't do that."
Turk. Griffin, thank you so much for being on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's a lot of fun. I'm glad I got a reason to watch this movie again, and it also has sent me down the path of rewatching.
You're gonna
the entire
rewatch the
thing.
You're
Yeah.
gonna love it.
I know.
Sorry, I didn't mean to yell.
I guess I should give you the bones back, right? I mean, we should swap back our bones.
Right, let's do a bone swap because I gotta
You know
go.
what? You know what?
What?
It's my gift. It's my gift to you.
No.
They always
Oh.
say if you're a
I
guest,
call him the
if you're
most
a guest,
generous
bring a
podcast
gift.
host in the biz.
That's
and here's,
unbelievable.
he's giving you
Hey,
bones.
you know what? In appreciation for the bones, let me just...
I believe he's giving you his eyes.
Here are my eyes.
Yes, there you go.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put them on the sides of my head.
Do it. Do it. Give yourself some ear eyes.
Everyone wants eyes in the back of their head, but what if you had them in the sides of your head?
I mean, far more
See?
useful.
Way more.
It's
useful.
like VR.
or one on the top, so I can look out for birds.
Yeah, definitely. And
The silent killers.
The silent killers. One on top
air
of the
conditioners,
head, one on my chin,
falling from
looking
tall
down.
buildings.
You
To
look
get
out
of
for
the
air
way.
conditioners, or even that thing where, like, when you're walking around and you're like, "Oh, is it raining?" and then you realize it's a little drip drop from the air conditioner. If you had the eye on the top, you wouldn't have to
Right.
look around to figure that out. You'd know immediately
The amount of
what
time
type
you're,
of
the
drop.
amount of time you're
Or-
saving is just incredible.
Huge.
If there was a drone and you wanted to check it out, you'd have a better chance of catching a good sight of it.
I love that drones exist, and I feel like I don't get to see them enough
I know.
in action because they're way above my head.
Yeah.
If freaking burglars or spies rappelled down from the ceiling,
Spider-Man, who's a
nice
menace.
try.
Spider-Man!
He's a menace.
You're talking about that wacky web crawler?
Yeah, exactly. He's a menace to the city. So
He
you
swings
could, you
through.
could see him. You could see him.
You can see him.
Griffin, thank you so much for doing our show and talking about the princess with us.
Yeah, of course.
Do you have
Does
18
the title
podcasts
Does
you
the
wanna
title
plug?
ever explain itself? I just was
It-
trying
oh,
to think of what.
It just means spirit princess.
Right.
Like in Japanese.
I think they say it at one
okay.
point.
Yeah, they
that,
say
like,
it.
Right.
Yeah, but
She is
it-
like the princess of the forest.
Mononoke Hime. It means like spirit / monster princess,
Yeah.
which is kind of
I was
broad. But
I was doing some research on this movie, and there's like apparently a like really in-depth documentary about the making of just this, which I would be curious to see.
would also
Did you all see the? You may be saving this for the end of your series, the Miyazaki documentary.
Yes.
What is it?
Yes.
Kingdom of
Dreams and
Yeah.
Madness.
Dreams
or
and
whatever.
Madness.
Yeah, but I did not know there was a specific documentary about this one.
Yeah, I found a couple clips of it on YouTube, and it's really like gets really in there, just about like frame by frame animation and how they work CGI into
Check it
it.
out.
I watched like 10 minutes of it. It was cool.
This box set that we all have is weird because it scrubs off all of the special features from the individual movies.
Right.
There's like the bonus disc, which has the documentary on it, right?
Right.
But otherwise, like when Disney did their separate releases and when GKids has now done their separate releases, they have individual features
Yeah.
for each of them. I don't know.
I don't know either.
They're robbing us of context.
I know. Well, hopefully it all gets figured out one day.
but gifting us more shelf space.
That's true.
That's the trade-off. Thank you all very much for listening. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe.
Wait, Griffin, do you want to plug anything? Wait, I forgot. You should plug your podcasts.
Yeah, we do podcasts and all kinds of stuff. Our family all works on junk together. That is why our website is macroy.family.
Right.
So if you go there, you'll find out all the stuff we do. Just got a graphic novel. If you would buy that, that'd be cool.
Great book.
It's
Yes.
called The Adventure Zone, Murder on the Rockport Limited. And that's all my plug time, folks. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, you have a media empire along with your family, and people should delve into it.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I was saying to David, like there are people who I feel like their media diet is 90% things that your family consumes.
And that's how we like it. If we could actually bump that number even
get a little
up a bit.
above
The
from
fuck
90.
is up with
90's
that
a little
10%?
Yeah.
Fucking euphoria.
Well, those teens are up to no good.
Those scenes are up to no good. Thank you all for listening. Here's the real ending. Thank you all for listening. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe. Thanks to Andrew Gudo for our social media. Thanks to Joe Bowen and Pat Reynolds for artwork. Lane Montgomery for our theme song. Go to Why Is My Brain Shutting Down?
Blankies.reddit.com for some real nerdy shit.
TeePublic for some real nerdy shirts.
Yes, blank check Patreon.
Going through those Marvel movies still. We're
Yeah.
probably up to, I don't know, Spider-Man Home is Where the Heart Is at this point.
That's about right. Maybe Black Panther, I think. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. Who fucking knows? Who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares? And as always, fuck.
What?
I feel like I had one like 20 minutes ago. We're going to sit in this for a second.
Great.
I want to be. Yeah, this is.
pee.
Can we make this last 2 hours?
We can make this last 2 hours. Oh, boy. Okay. Two
Spaghetti.
people need to pee. No, I was thinking about it wasn't the spaghetti thing.
Wolves.
What was the thing we had a lot of fun with? There was something. David is
messing up the trash in the
putting
camp.
his phone back
Yeah,
in his
David
pocket,
is-
trash in the camp, skibba-deep up doop up a deep ba. David is coiling up his AC adapter for his laptop. He is brushing his hair. He has now put his headphones back on. I think he is filing a piece for The Atlantic.
It could happen.
It could happen. And of course,
Something about the warhogs.
and as always, Warthogs,
Hakuna
Pumbaa,
Matata.
Kuna Matata. That's very topical.
Bones.
Bones.
Season 13 coming soon
season
to
13.
fucking Queeby or whatever.
Bones is going to be
Boreanaz.
Queeby.
Boreanaz is
Angel.
back. He's
Boreanaz
bonier
is
than
back.
ever.
Angel.
Yeah.
As always,
And as always, thank you for listening.
All right, great one. No, I love that. That was great. Thank you.